How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the show. It's Friday, man. It's the Capes and Cowls edition of the show. And, man, what a lot of comics. Well, comic movies we can discuss and talk about. Obviously, the talk this week has been Superman, and I haven't spoken to the guys about it. So we'll talk about the trailer and get our thoughts out on that. The Ironheart trailer dropped, so we'll discuss the thoughts on that one. We'll get into the main topic today, which is Sadie Sink was rumored a long time ago to be playing Jean Grey. Then it was like, well, maybe not. She's going to be doing something in Spider-Man. Well, it looks like not only does John Roca hear some stuff about what she's actually going to be playing, there's some more kind of plot details overall of what Spider-Man is going to be all about. So we'll discuss that. Big Balls is going to be looking for revenge for Coy, who was attacked by a squirrel over the last couple of days. So we'll be discussing that. And that's why you don't refer to Big Balls as a squirrel, because he doesn't attack. He's a lover. So that being said, it is Capes and Cowls, myself, Winston A. Marshall, Coy Jandreau. Let's get to it, everybody. It's the show. Now, wait a minute. Luke, you're the best. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the show. That's right. It's Capes and Cowls. Back here today on this wonderful Friday. Thanks for being here. Myself, Kristian Harloff, Winston A. Marshall, Coy Jandreau, and we start with the big news of the week, the blockbuster news of the week, and that is that Coy Jandreau was attacked by a squirrel. So, Coy, I'm not gonna interview you.
Fair.
I want someone else to interview.
I told you about them squirrels. That's why when people call me squirrel, I say, what? They're vicious. I'm a lover. Look what they did to my boy's face. Look at that.
It's insulting. I understand where you're coming from. That's speciesist, and frankly, I won't stand for it any longer. They're a violent people, and you're much better than that, Big Balls.
So let me ask you this. What happened, baby? What happened?
I was minding my own business. I was sending out emails on my phone, literally sitting, just having a moment amongst the trees when two squirrels fighting on a distant tree. I clock them. I look over. I think nothing. Squirrels fight, and then they get closer. They're on the tree next to me. Squirrels chase each other down, land. One of them runs up my leg, up my shirt, onto my face in the fight. I grab, I pull, it leaps off my face. And it's not so bad now, but I was bleeding pretty good. Your face bleeds a lot, but no one should know what squirrel feels like in your hand. No one. And I now know that horrible feeling and lost face.
Coy, I hate those motherfuckers. I hate them. They're vicious. I had an ex that was a squirrel too. Yeah, she used to bite my nuts.
I respect it. I mean, they have an affinity for nuts. That's the best thing about them.
Yeah, well, now I'll call you Squirrel Boy.
If I start at the full moon craving nuts and getting sleepy in the winter, we know.
Craving nuts, bro. You walked into that one.
That's all what I'm for. Big Balls and I.
Crave these nuts, baby.
Midlife crisis manifests in different ways.
Open up.
There you go.
Well, hey,
welcome back.
I'm so sorry, Coy. I
It's
also
so oddly scary.
I'm sure it was scary.
They're so small and your face is so vulnerable.
Nothing oddly about it anyway. Who the hell wants a big old rodent running around your clothes and your face?
And those claws like scale trees, so when they're on your face and you're trying to get it off, you can feel it like they hook in. So it's not like on, it's like in. So when you're trying to remove, it was intense.
Dude, I feel bad. I also got attacked by the sun. I am so sunburned. It's effing awful. Yeah, I know better.
Yeah, but you're right. You chose to sit there and fight the sun. He did not choose to fight.
I did not pick the squirrel. I did not prepare. You could have prepared.
No. You must have done something. I know you did. You wore cologne. You wore like nut musk or something like that.
Were fighting. I didn't have peanut butter smeared in my face. I was living my life. I was on my phone. Also, just because there's been this united front with gingers and black folk online doesn't mean you need my ailments.
Yeah.
Getting in the sun is my thing.
Does your mic suck again today for some reason? Are you hooked up?
Same mic, same one.
Really? Are you sure? Double check.
Doors open, but let me check.
Double check in the settings.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah, it usually sounds better.
No, that sounds a lot better.
Is that good?
Yeah, whatever you did.
Oh, whatever I did. All right, cool.
But we all need a good boost of energy, I think.
Yeah, we do.
We got Magic Mind. Once again, I don't know if you guys know, we always talk about it on Capes, and rightfully so. Coy, what do you love about Magic Mind? Because I'll tell you what I love about it.
I love that I'm a person who needs a lot of energy throughout the day, and like I ebb, I flow, and this gives me like a nice sustained. So this is like my mid-morning drink. Like I wake up, I need to thaw a bit, and this helps me get through that like hump of like, all right, mid-morning, let's get to it. So yeah, I like the evenness.
Yeah, Winston, you've been doing you like the sleep one too, right?
I love the sleep one. The sleep one especially has been helping me as I've been shooting this movie, man. We've been doing overnights. And so great way for me when I needed to take that midday nap so I can go be on set all night. I get refreshed. Then I hit the Magic Mind regular. So I can hit my lines, all that. It has been fantastic.
You should have seen Brett. He was like in heaven. We have so much of it at the office. He was in heaven. So Magic Mind, you can get the discounted code is the first thing you'll see in the description of the video. So make sure you go and you check that out. Hopefully Luke or PLD will make it the first thing you see in the description in case it isn't. So make sure you go over there, and we love Magic Mind. Happy to have them. So there's a lot going on with the news, a lot of stories. And this was the big one that we saw. We were going through them today. Like, yeah, there's a lot. We were here. And besides just being an overall rumor, there's some other stuff that's, if it is indeed what it could mean for the future of Spider-Man. Sadie Sink Spider-Man, brand new day role revealed, possibly, and she's tied to Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker. Holy speculation about who Sadie Sink could play in Spider-Man Brand New Day has been running rampant for months now, but this latest rumor points to her playing the daughter of Peter Parker and Mary Jane. Rumblings that Stranger Things star Sadie Sink was being eyed to play Jean Grey in Marvel Studios' X-Men reboot first did the rounds earlier this year. However, we've since learned that she will star in Spider-Man Brand New Day and not the powerful psychic. Sink's role has been kept under wraps, but on the Hot Mic podcast, John Roca
had Jeff Schneider?
Not in this one, revealed what he's heard. Apparently, the actress is playing Mayday Parker, the daughter of Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker Spider-Man. In the comics, Mayday Parker is the first child of Peter and Mary Jane in a future alternate universe. In that reality, Kane reunited the couple with the baby that believed died during childbirth. In a later battle with the Green Goblin, Spidey lost a leg and decided to retire from crime fighting. Mayday eventually gained powers of her own as a teenager and donned Ben Reilly's Spider-Man suit to fight Normie Osborn, the Green Goblin's grandson. This is too much for me, guys, who set out to restore his family's name as a new goblin. If correct, this confirms that Spider-Man Brand New Day is a multiverse tale, a decision which makes sense with the movie swinging into theaters between Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. Jeff Schneider,
there it is,
meanwhile, also chimed in to say that Sink's character will likely be a friend to Tom Holland's Peter, filling the void left by MJ and Ned. He added that Mr. Negative will be Spider-Man Brand New Day's villain, with a secondary female villain likely played by Sarah Snook. Snyder also didn't discount the possibility of Stephen Yeun playing the MCU's Martin Lee. We'll see what happens, but there are several convincing signs that Spider-Man will battle Mr. Negative, a newer addition to the character's Rogues Gallery. He debuted during the late 2000s. Destin Daniel Cretton could do a lot with it. This is news to me. Sink has said a possibility of playing Jean Grey in Spider-Man The Brand New Day. Nothing to say about this. Yada, yada. Okay. All right. So this is it's a big story if it indeed is true. I'll tell you what, out of all the rumors I've heard so far, and not just because it's Roca, I tend to believe this one. Yeah. I tend to believe it because it makes sense on a lot of different levels. It makes sense on the fact that, okay, well, first of all, could I see her playing Kirsten Dunst's daughter? Sure can. Can I see her being part of the multiverse in general and almost playing like what Gwen did in Beyond the Spider-Verse? Yeah. Could I see her having a bigger role and being like the best friend, kind of newest best friend to Peter? Yeah. And does it make sense that that's how you could tie in Tobey again, and you can tie in the multiverse stuff and leading into the new Avengers movies. It seems like it adds up. I don't know, but Coy, you hear this? You're the Spider-Man guy. What do you say?
So it's really interesting right now. Spider-Gwen has gotten so popular. They've brought in the Spider-Gwen of her universe into our universe. And so when I hear this, I'm like, oh, it's interesting that, sometimes comics have nothing to do with the movies as far as in real time, but also sometimes there are villains or storylines introduced as a way of like beta testing, like, oh, how will fans deal with this? Now, it's not like one-to-one by any means, but there's definitely like when a villain is going to be in the limelight, they focus on that villain. Right now, there's a giant Doom storyline over the entire universe. No coincidence, next year's a big Doom movie. So I do think there is a potential of her being Mayday and utilizing some of the Spider-Gwen storyline they're doing right now, like folding her into the universe, having her here. I could see this working. It does make sense to me. Mayday Parker was something that I think most nerds that like the comics assumed like top 3 when she was announced. So I think it makes sense. I think it makes it so we could have a street level Spider-Man story with elements of multiverse. This doesn't make it a multiversal movie. It'll have multiversal elements, which I think is what Tom Holland was kind of going for. It sounded like it was the battle between the MCU and Sony wanting, another trio movie and something big and multiversal. This could allow for a few scenes of multiversal stuff and then be largely rooted in a gang war using Martin Lee, using, that sort of story. So I see it as kind of a cake and eat it too, potentially. And Sadie Sink's great. So I like this idea, hopefully.
What do you think, Listen?
I think that Coy kind of hit the nail on the head there. I think that this allows you to bring in, again, those multiversal elements without making this fully multiversal. And I think you also just set it up like Spider-Verse with Gwen, where you don't get that reveal until later. And I hope what they end up doing is it's maybe mid-second or beginning of third act when that happens, and we're now tying it all together, how this is the bridge between Doomsday and Secret Wars. I think that is 1,000% the way to go. I'm glad that the idea that Sadie is still involved is a good thing one way or the other, since I do think she's very talented. But yeah, if as long as we really do keep this Spider-Man centric until we have to, that is the one thing I am begging, is let's keep this as street level as it possibly can be until we don't have a choice. And again, it's the bridge between the two, so I think that works. But yeah, this is good. I think this is good.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead, Coy.
Sorry, one last note. Thinking of it too, like you want a female lead in the film and maybe not wanting to have it be a Black Cat and like a relationship or something. Just like, I think a lot of people would feel a little like, wait, Spider-Man sacrificed everyone knowing about him to save MJ and now he's dating someone else. I think this is a good way to have someone with powers that he's not in a relationship with, because it'd be kind of weird if he was dating the daughter of a multiversal version of himself. That's like a layer of incest I can't fathom. So like, I think it's an interesting way to have someone with powers and a female lead for the sake of characters and, action figures and all the stuff you need for the business side. But story-wise, it also allows the character not to be like betraying MJ. So I think it's a cool way to have a female with powers that isn't like, I don't like Jackpot. Like when Mary Jane has powers, I think that's really dumb. So stuff like that, but working into the narrative this way.
I'm not hating the Mary Jane Venom thing, but I am praying to God they don't do that. Like, I really hope they're not. That I'm fine to let that play out in the comics and see how that goes before I pass full judgment. But I really hope that's not what's about to happen here. I don't even want Peter to be like, yeah, and we thought the Venom symbiote died, man, but it got a hold of Mary Jane. I've been fighting my wife for years. Like, yeah. I will be furious.
What I'm hoping for also is the fact that what you guys are saying. It's like, it's okay to let Spider-Man be the one with the powers. It's okay to do that. You don't have to let it. Well, now we want to do like you said, Coy, because Spider-Gwen is super popular now. It's like, well, now we're going to give someone else the powers and Peter's got to figure it out. It's like, no, just let him. It's a Spider-Man movie. It's okay to let him be the lead. It's okay. You're fine. Please. You've been very successful in the past. That's what they do. They get scared and they go, oh, you know what? Now it's got to be someone else that's got to be the lead, or it's got to be someone else. It's got to be whoever. Let her do it. And they're like, no, you don't. Not for this new movie. Make a new movie. You don't need to do it for Spider-Man. I don't think that they will. I think that this is why I believe that the Sadie Sink being the friend is great. Because she did it masterfully on Stranger Things, and you give her would be a huge role for her overall to do this in her first Marvel movie. Now, yeah, Jean Grey would have been pretty exciting also, but maybe they're just not going that road, you know?
That's
And
what
we
that
have some
feels
Jean
like.
Grey casting rumors later in the episode, right?
I think so, yeah. So, all right, let's get, well, first let me just ask you guys, what do you make of all this? You think this is something that's possible, probable? Is it inevitable? Go ahead and put your thoughts in there. I have to thank all you guys. The Clips channel just hit 9,000 subscribers. We're looking to get to 10,000 on that channel. It's new. And what is that, you're asking? Well, if you are watching this show and you watch it daily, but you're like, you know what, I can't watch it all the time in this full 2-hour form. How do I watch this show just in clips? There you go. Clips channel. I'm getting new people signing up there every single day. I hope you do it right now. If PLD or Galaxy Geeks are in the chat at the moment, hopefully they can put the Clips link in there so you guys can just click on it and subscribe. Ironheart trailer dropped over the last couple of days. Actually, the same day that Superman did. I don't know how smart that was, but they dropped it at the same time. And Marvel Television has released a new promo banner for Ironheart, and it gives a more detailed look at the first, presumably, suit of armor that Riri Williams will don in the series. Marvel Studios released the first trailer for Ironheart earlier this week, and while it didn't reveal the first glimpse of Mephisto, we still don't know for certain if he's going to show up in the series. We were hoping for it. It did give a better idea of what to expect from this latest Disney Plus show. Now we have a new banner spotlighting Dominique Thorne as genius-level inventor and budding hero Riri Williams, along with more detailed look at what we assume will be one of her prototype suits. She's expected to construct several over the course of the series. The trailer seemed to go over well enough with the fans of the character, but those less than familiar with Riri's comic book adventures will likely take a bit more convincing. So here's the versions of the new banner down here as you see it. Okay. And I think that's really it. Yeah, that's those are the. Wait, is something on the bottom there? Hold on, something else. No, we're just talking about where she made her debut. That stuff we know. So before we went on the air, Winston, we were talking, and Coy and I saw a trailer of this or version of this. I think it was 2022. Coy.
Yeah, it was. I think they had just started filming, and that was 3 years ago. We saw footage that is still used footage 3 years ago, like almost a high school curriculum ago.
Yeah. So when I was out, and I said this, I put my Superman trailer reaction about an hour and a half out normally when I would do it because I knew when it was dropping, but Coy will be proud of me. I've been for, again, 4 days a week going to the gym. I don't let anything else get in the way of it. So even Superman, the trailer. So
respect, man. That's a big one.
So I went, I said, I knew it was coming out, but I said, I got to go. And I went and I came back, I did it, but also missed Ironheart. And then I said, okay, well, Superman obviously took precedence over that one. And then I said, I've seen a trailer of it already. I'm going to watch the series. And what I've been doing for movies in general that I missed the trailer reactions for, you and I both have been doing this, or all three of us have been doing this. We don't watch the trailer unless we have to, just going in blind for it. This show, obviously, this is a comic book movie related show. I should have watched it so we could discuss it a little bit more. But if I remember the stuff that was in there, when does this come out?
June. It's next month.
Right. So this is the first marketing. But this is the other thing I said yesterday. Make no mistake about it. They held the marketing on this for one reason and one reason alone. Hey, we got Sinners coming out. Let's see how that's going to do. If it does really well, then guess what we're going to do? The first thing you see, Ryan Coogler. And that's what it is. Because that's what you do. You just had a massive hit, and now okay. Because I was talking, so the great Dan Murrell was in New York yesterday. We had breakfast together, and we were talking, nice. and he was curious because he said, executive producer, how much do you think you really had to be involved in? And I said, well, Coy and I saw footage of this 3 years ago, and he was very heavily involved, and he was talking about it, and it was like, this isn't busy. He was busy back then, but he's on a different level even 3 years later than he was back then. And
he presented this footage with pride. Like he presented this with ownership, and I think he's more involved than the average EP.
I think he's very involved in it. I don't know. But like I said, I did not respond to the character in Black Panther 2. Now, does that mean I won't respond to the character in the show? Not necessarily. I thought Cassian Andor was an okay character in Rogue One. But he was fine. He was okay. I didn't understand why he needed a show. And now it's the best written thing in Star Wars, maybe ever. Empire Strikes Back is still the best, but written wise. So who knows? Maybe Riri turns out to be one of my favorite characters after watching what they do with her. I just don't care about the character today. But June, Winston could be different.
I mean, I really vibed with that trailer. I thought that the trailer was very well done. It is obvious that Ryan Coogler is involved. I got the exact same vibes watching that as I did when the initial Black Panther trailer came out. Not even Wakanda Forever. The initial Black Panther trailer, the choice in music, the angles that are involved, the kind of pacing of everything. So if all he did was essentially direct what the trailer looks like, he made it clear that his stamp is there. And I agree with you. I think that was a very smart move. I think they were always going to put Ryan Coogler front and center, but it would made sense to hold off on the marketing for two reasons. One, you know that the main thing that you wanted to get across was Thunderbolts. You wanted that to be your centerpiece, and you're really pushing, as they did at the start of the year, the movies. You are not putting as much emphasis on the shows, because once this set of shows are over, we are heavily pulling back. There is maybe going to be one or two a year, like Daredevil, and maybe one other thing, and that's it. So I'm not surprised that they didn't do that, but I'm getting a vibe that this is going to end up being similar to your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, where they may not have put pedal to the metal on the marketing for this, but we're going to end up with something that's actually very well done. I just hope that it maybe gets more water cooler talk than your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, because as much as everybody loved it, it very much was like, oh, that's over. Okay, bye. Like, I hope that that's not what's happening here, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm wondering though, Coy, what do you think this show? Because there was this big report, and we talked about it on the show yesterday. Actually, Ben Bateman was in studio. I had him in, and we were discussing the Marvel strategy of what was going on, and the talk was that they were gonna basically now put shows out that could live on their own. They're still connected, adjacent to the MCU, like the way that Kingpin mentioned Spider-Man, but they're not really going to have too much involvement in it. This show was conceived during the time when they were still interweaving the shows and the movies. Like you had the homework, right?
Yeah.
So is this still homework? Like, meaning that, like, I'm thinking about it for Sam and I right now, where we just finished Hawkeye. We're going to air we put episodes 3 and 4 out today, 5 and 6 on Monday. And then we started Moon Knight. And I'm like going through the things. I'm like, since someone wrote that, well, why are you watching Moon Knight? That doesn't really have anything to do with the overall MCU. I was like, it could, but good point. Do you think this is going to be relevant to, say, because it comes out June, to Fantastic Four, which comes out a month later?
I don't think to Fantastic Four directly. I think there are elements. I think it's going to be kind of like Guardians before Infinity War, where Guardians was its own flavor, its own thing, but it did inform the cosmic side, right? Like the trilogy of Guardians is its own thing, but when you watch the big events, it connects. And I think that even Guardians 3 like rushes through that, like, yo, Thor, and then goes to do its own thing. Like Thor rushes through Guardians. They kind of do their own thing. Obviously the Gamora element changed the story, but I think even in Gamora changing, that changed the Star-Lord Gamora element more than anything else. And that was really cool because they were able to make that its own reason for that multiversal story that felt independent. So to me, the Black Panther universe has always felt like its own. Wakanda's removed from everything until it incorporates, but it always feels like it's got its own flavor. This to me feels like it's in the Black Panther corner of the universe that then can integrate. When we see Black Panther in the big events, it doesn't feel out of place, but when you watch Black Panther and Wakanda Forever, they feel unique to the MCU, and I feel like this is going to do that same thing. What I think it might inform going forward is a blend of technology and magic. I don't think that the Hood is going to have anything to do with Doom directly, but I think the blend of science and magic is going to inform a tone that might affect Doom. So in that way, maybe peripherally connect to Fantastic Four, but not in any direct way.
Yeah, and I wonder, I mean, because like I said, I think giving the audience homework now is a bad way to move forward. And I do wonder, I don't think by its nature, even if the show does wind up being great, I don't think it's going to be a water cooler show. I just don't. I mean, in the same way that Andor. No, I know you're not saying that. I'm just saying you want you. I'm just saying you want it to be, of course. And we a lot of, like, in the same way that Andor wasn't necessarily, the whole show wasn't a water cooler, but people were talking about that 10th episode, right? That's what people were just, or even the, what was it? It was the 10th, right? Was the
third block. So 7, 8, 9 was the big, because
but
1, 2,
but there were a few. There were quite a few, but I mean, but it's not a water cooler show the way that Game of Thrones was.
They're also putting out the show. Half of the episodes come out the day it drops.
Right.
It's a 6-episode show. They're dropping 3 day one. Like they're not allowing for anything water cooler. They're going, there it is.
Okay. How long? Didn't you know how long the episodes are?
I'm assuming 45 if it's a 6-episode show versus an 8, So I'm assuming it'll be like 2 hours a little over 2 hours of content at once.
Yeah.
But that's difficult because I don't know if they're doing 3 and 3. I've heard it's 3 and 3. I don't know if it's 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what I mean? So either way, it's at most 4 weeks. At minimum, it could only be a 2-week conversation.
Yeah, that's the problem. The problem is that it's a come and go show in general, because it's like she's just not hasn't, in looking in wrestling terms, she hasn't gone over with the audience yet. She's not over yet. So when you put a show out in that short a time, you don't have a lot of time to get her over.
The only thing that I will say that might work in its favor is the thing that you brought up at the start of your assessment of this. It might, just off of the back of Ryan Coogler already cooking, if the first couple of episodes of the show, however they decide to release it, if they're really well done, and you are taking, what you will end up doing is, because Ryan's involved, there is always going to be Marvel people that are obsessed with what he might potentially be doing, but there's going to be like the Black community, for example. And so same thing, if you get communal ties to be like, yo, Ryan is doing it again, like that's twice in 2 months, like what the hell? That is the only thing that I could see might maybe move the needle because of how much heat Sinners gave. But I agree with you, unless something like that happens, it won't necessarily move the needle like that, I don't think.
Yeah, and look, fingers crossed that it's a solid show. I mean, for a lot of different reasons, you're rooting for the team, you're rooting for good content, you're rooting for Coogler, you're rooting for all the, this is a big role for this girl too, So this is, and she hasn't played the role since Black Panther 2. The movie obviously went through it had its horrible issues, and then people are obviously judging it for whatever reasons, but now they have an opportunity. We'll see what happens. Okay, I ask you guys out there, what are your thoughts on this trailer? Did you like the trailer of Ironheart? Did you think that this is going to be something that you wanted to see? Was it on your radar? Were you curious? Were you not curious? Put your thoughts in there, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on the replay, and whether you're watching on the Clips channel. If you are watching the Clips channel, thank you very little. Okay, so before we move to the next story, because there's a big story that just broke, and it has to do with the Batman, and we're going to get to that right after the break. And when we do, I'm excited to discuss it, because I get to break it to the guys. Don't look it up, guys. I want to break it to you. So let's get to this. I'm excited to tell you guys both. I just told you I've been going and working out during the weekends now. I have one of those hydro machines. They are awesome. They're really great. And I got a Ridge wallet. I don't know the big chunky wallet anymore. I'll tell you about both of them. Check it out. I was at the airport, and TSA agent made fun of my wallet. Told me I could fit my whole family in there if I wanted to. And it was a really good joke, buddy. But I'll tell you, made me self-conscious. And now I don't have to worry about that, because I don't have the big bulky wallet anymore. Ridge is the bomb, yo. Why? Well, it's unique. It's slim. It's a modern design. It holds up to 12 cards plus cash. It's got premium materials like aluminum, titanium, carbon fiber. It's got over 50 colors and styles to choose from. So the one that I love my Giants customized one, and I know you're a Cowboys fan. Well, guess what? You can get one for the Cowboys too. Just don't tell me about it. It's got over 100,000 five-star reviews, and all Ridge products have a lifetime warranty. It's literally the last wallet that you're ever going to have to buy. Losing the wallet is the worst. It's the worst. But with the Ridge AirTag attachment, you'll always know where it is before panic mode kicks in. No matter what you pick, Ridge has free shipping, 99-day risk-free trial, and a lifetime warranty on all of their products. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off at Ridge. We got to use that code Kristian at checkout. You head on over to ridge.com, use that code Kristian, then you're all set. After the purchase, they're going to say, hey, where'd you find us from? You're going to say, Kristian Harloff Show told me about it. And that's going to support the show. So go and do that. Don't get the Cowboys one. I guess you can. All right, I've been talking a lot about going to the gym, and I go 4 days a week. I do it. But I've been looking for something really to make sure that I can do on the weekends because I feel like I'm in it now. I'm in it. I want to get a good workout in. So Hydro, I do it all at home on my schedule, and I do it in 20 minutes. Rowing on the Hydro, it gets me the full body workout, and I don't ever even have to leave the house. It's great. I just found out about it not too long ago. I said, let me check it out. I saw all these great reviews about it, and man, it is the way to go. It's a secret weapon for a full body workout. It hits like 86% of your muscles, arms, legs, core, all of it. And you can knock it out again in 20 minutes. It's efficient and it actually works. One thing that I really love about it, you don't get bored. Hydro's got tons of workouts with actual Olympians, and they're filmed in this gorgeous outdoor spots all over the world. It makes it way easier to stay motivated. If you're on the fence about it, there's a free shipping. It's 30-day risk-free trial, and Hydro offers a full year warranty. Honestly, no pressure. You try it out, you see how it feels. So if you need to skip the gym, not the workout, you stay on track with Hydro. For a limited time, go to hydro.com and use the code Kristian. You save up to $475 off your Hydro Pro Rower during Hydro's Memorial Day sale. That is hydrow.com. Use the code Kristian. That is Hydro, hydrow.com. Code Kristian to save up to $475. Hydro.com. Code Kristian. I'm telling you, you guys will thank me for that. Especially if you were like, well, you know what? I can't get to the gym. And I have room in my house. What do I do? I got room in my place. What do I do? Get one of these things. You heard I said the fact you can get that full body workout. So both that and Ridge, the Ridge one will make your life a lot easier too. Anyway, gents, I forgot to tell you what we're working with as far as questions right now too, because this week you had Roka start, and then you had Roka and Roxy on Tuesday, and then you had Steph on Wednesday, Ben Bateman coming in on Thursday. Anyone want to guess who's in the lead and with what number?
I'm going to guess Bateman because people haven't seen him in a while, and I'm going to guess that he's sitting at, I drank a lot, 151.
Oh, my God. That's way over. But
look, man, I have been in Mexico drinking tequila and rum.
Boy?
I'm going to guess Steph,
okay.
and I'm going to say 91.
Coy, I'm going to Vegas with you because it's Steph at 85. Steph at 85 is the answer. Currently, you guys have 16. So before we got about 30 minutes before we even get to the questions. So good shape thus far. So if you want to see Winston and Coy do it again, they won it last week. Can they win 2 in a row? You got to get them past 85. Okay. Major story that broke here while we were talking, so much so that I'm going to change the thumbnail. I'm going to change the description and everything. What is going on with Matt Reeves? The Batman Part 2 script, exclusive. The Robert Pattinson starring sequel will be released on October 1st, 2027. That is an exclusive from the artist formerly known as El Mayambe, Humberto Gonzalez. So what is going on with the script for Matt Reeves, The Batman Part 2? The Dark Knight detective remains in the shadows, awaiting the screenplay for his next outing. Fans online have taken a big interest in tracking the development of the script of the highly anticipated sequel, specifically wondering when the studio is going to get a full draft. At the most recent DC Studios presentation earlier this year, DC Studios co-chief Peter Safran gave an update on the project. James and I, we love Matt Reeves' vision for the Batman Part 2, and we're looking forward to this film as much as you are. He hasn't turned in a script, but what we've read so far is very encouraging. According to an insider with knowledge of the project, Reeves has been sending pages for more than half a year, and the first full draft of the script is expected to be delivered by Memorial Day. The film was originally set to hit theaters in October of this year, but it was pushed back due to stalled script development during the 2023 actors and writer strikes. As for the follow-up to The Batman, it will remain separate from the otherwise interconnected DC Studios continuity. Fans are not the only ones excited for The Batman 2. Robert Pattinson shared an enticing but brief update on the highly anticipated superhero project, telling Extra that he finally knows what the film is about and he can't wait to wear the cape and mask again. However, Reeves is doing a great job of cloaking any spoilerly details. I know what it's about, Pattinson said. Matt Reeves is a very careful writer, but I finally know now what it's about. It's very cool, and I'm very excited. The Batman, which was released in 2022, grossed $772 million worldwide at the box office. Previously, the movie was set to premiere in IMAX on October 2nd, 2026. Now it will premiere on October 1st, 2027. Okay. So you hear all of that. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I mean, I buy that there's a script coming, but I don't buy that it's coming out in 2027. I bought it when they said it was coming out in 2025, and then I bought it when they said it was coming out in 2026. I don't buy it. I don't buy it until Superman comes out. I just don't buy it. Corey, I'm going to let you think for a second because you got to craft your answer. It's your job. So Winston, why don't you go first, man? Do you believe that this is a thing?
I know that all of the actors in these major projects are PR trained, have very particular stuff. If they don't have a direct answer, they are very careful with their words. Even when people are careful with their words, they kind of can give a tell. The fact that Robert Pattinson said, I finally get it. He's a careful writer. I finally get it. I am now like, it's not to say that it won't be a good script when it's fully done and being shot and all that stuff. It has got me feeling like that is hold the line. So sure, yes, we'll give you a little bit more information, this kind of stuff like that, but hold the line until things are going. And I agree with you. We have not been given, like, one of the things I was actually saying in my Ironheart reaction was the idea of if somebody wasn't feeling good about that because Marvel has been inconsistent, I can understand that. I do not feel confident in them, just like you just said, because this has been inconsistent. So if you show me proof that we're actually moving and things are going well and stuff like that, then I will feel differently. But no, I don't buy that it's coming out in 2027 until we're like, and shooting's done and the screenings are happening and the blah, blah. You miss me. I'm off at this point.
Yeah. What do you think, Corey?
So I'm thinking it was 2027, the most recent move. Like that, it's still the same date from the most recent move. This is an announcement of a new move, but I don't disagree that until we actually know details, it feels like, okay, that's the date, but we'll see. 2.5 years between the Batman and the Penguin, and then another 2.5 years between the Penguin and the Batman 2 does feel long when you look at the 5 years, but it didn't feel crazy long between the Batman and the Penguin. So I'm torn as someone who is like, I'd rather wait and have it be great than have someone else take the mantle, than have another version. If we can have a Detective Batman set in a universe that already exists and have a Batman that works alongside Superman and Krypto and all those things, that's the ideal for me. And giving it some distance and giving it time to be that version, I'm still okay with. But I don't disagree that this update is a TBD. Like, this update doesn't give any sort of ink. It's still pencil. Like, this still feels like pencil. So, like, as much as I'm super excited, this update doesn't feel like it changes my, like, okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you on, if I also want it to be good and take your time and that type of logic. And I would feel more that way if it was the only game in town. If it was the only game in town and you're like, well, yeah, you got to wait for Batman. They didn't get it. They don't have it the way they want it. We want it to be great. There's a DC Batman looming. And I know that you feel, this could be two in the same, but if Superman hits and it hits well, people are going to go, where's the Batman in this universe? Where's the Batman in this universe? And if that Batman, people start to care about that Batman more than this Batman, who still doesn't have a second one, it's going to hurt your box office. You're going to spend more money on it. And people might be like, oh yeah, what, I go back and watch that one again. Oh, I'll go and I'll check that. I'm invested in this one. You can still, there's ton, myself, you, Winston, we'll all be those people that go, yeah, we can do both, but not everyone will. I don't care about any of the comments that say I'm wrong on that. I know I'm right. I know I'm right. When it comes to the regular audience, there's what? How many Batman? But which is the one? Who? Yeah, I like that Superman movie. Is he in that one? No, it's this other one.
It's too much.
And Superman might be. It's too much. So but the reason why I do very much believe that they're going to get that script in Memorial Day, they're holding that thing going. Zaslav's got in his hand going, I'll tell you what, if Superman stinks up the joint and it doesn't work, we're fast tracking that thing ASAP, and we're putting everything we got into the Batman and the Batman universe and Penguin season 2 and all that. That's going to be, the focus will start to shift there, and it will go away from Supergirl and DCU and James Gunn. And James Gunn's going to be doing stuff for Marvel again, but I don't think that's going to happen. Honestly, I think our next story is going to be about what Superman is tracking at. So
I think so. Yeah. I think Superman will be just fine. I think I got a lot of faith in that last trailer. It put a lot of it got me hyped. I've been like kind of mid like the whole time. I was like, I think it'll be good, but whatever. That last trailer got me legit hyped, and I think it'll be good. But to that point, it's why I personally am not investing any more of my emotional energy into the Batman 2 until we are fully going. Why would I continue to put myself in that space? I know we do it for what we do, but
you don't want to get bladed.
That's literally where I'm at this point,
right,
because that is exactly what can and will happen.
Right.
So I refuse to care until this is a real thing.
Coy, anything else in that one?
My last thought is just, I think part of my view on wait, and I'm excited to wait, and I'm okay with waiting, is Matt Reeves' Batman, I think, is the closest to Batman that I've ever felt to how I see the character. So I know they're going to have to make the DCU Batman different enough to make it work in a vibrant world like Superman, right? Like, the thing I love about Batman is his ability to be in a Batman and Superman comic, in a Justice League comic, in a detective comic, in a Batman comic. Like, Batman's in like 9 titles, and it's all the same character, but there's different equalizers. There's different, like, when you listen to an album, there are certain songs you can tell are for the single. And I think Batman, when he's doing Justice League stuff, is going to be more approachable. You're going to be playing the single. You're going to be the track that the radio can play, the track that fits in more places. What the Batman is to me is the B-side that I love, and that is specific to how I see the character. So I would much rather focus on that and then have a really cool, broad pop culture one that exists simultaneously than rush to a DCU Batman at the cost of the other one. So part of me being okay with the 5 years is selfish, is what I'm saying.
That's fair. Well, I got to ask you guys, what do you guys think? I can tell you what I think as I'm doing this intro. I can't even tell you how many times I've told my wife that I'm live from 2 to 4 every single day. Every day. She calls me every day around 2:40 whenever I'm on the air, without fail. But that's not the outro you're looking for. The question is, as far as the Batman goes, do you want to see this movie happen regardless? Do you disagree with me like the great Anthony Chessman does and says people won't be confused? They will be. But do you agree more so on that side of it? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know. Very curious. Sticking with DC, sticking with what we didn't really get into, and that is Superman. We'll discuss the trailer. We'll get into the trailer a little bit and give our thoughts on it. Winston kind of gave his early thoughts on the trailer itself. There's something else that is now being projected, and it says that Superman could be eyeing a 175 million opening weekend. But what is the latest from the test screenings? The test screenings can eat my balls. I'm so tired of test screenings. I don't care if they're good test screenings. I don't care if they're bad. I don't care about test screenings anymore. I'm so over them. I'm telling you, right? I don't know what this test screening says. I don't know if it says that it's great. I don't know if it says that it's terrible, but whatever it is, I don't care. We have some very, very early box office tracking news for Superman, with one trusted insider pointing to a 175 million opening weekend in North America. We also have an update from test screenings. Following the release of the latest trailer for Superman, excitement for the movie has to continue to increase. Last December's teaser broke viewership records, while the response to both a 5-minute sneak peek and Superman Day featurette was extremely positive. James Gunn has discarded the DCEU's moody Man of Steel for a far more optimistic version who is more in line with the comics. In doing so, he has replaced Henry Cavill with relative unknown David Cornsweet and an impressive supporting cast that some have argued is lacking an A-list box office draw. We won't know how much that matters until this July, but many believe that DC Studios' future hinges on Superman. Yes, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is already on the way, as are a few TV shows, but if Superman bombs, Warner Brothers could decide to shelve the brand or find new leadership to replace James Gunn and Peter Safran. Sounds extreme, but Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav has made a lot of questionable decisions since taking charge of the company. Talking on the Hot Mic podcast, Jeff revealed that he's heard Superman is currently tracking big. The insider strongly hinted that a 175 million opening is indeed possible. Let's see, but he isn't convinced it'll reach 200 million during the first weekend. He's also unsure about Superman becoming a $1 billion blockbuster. Of course, with some good news, some bad. And Snyder said that one reaction he got from a test screening was that Superman stinks. As always, it's always Snyder that's hearing about
It's always Snyder. This is where I'm starting to think that Snyder went, and Snyder is the one that keeps doing this.
He's changing it right back and forth, going, this one, I heard this is great. I heard it stinks. I heard it's great. Of course, we kid with Jeff. As always, it's best to take rumors with a pinch of salt. It's still very early days of box office tracking. It's not released until July, and there have been heaps of positive reports from internal and external test screenings in recent months. As always, stay tuned for updates on Superman as we have them. Okay. Go ahead. You got something?
Yeah, I while you were saying that the 175 track, I wanted to see what that put that in the range of. So right around 175, those movies would include Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows Part 2 at 169.
What did that tap out on?
That tapped out at 381.
381? No.
That's domestic. I'm just looking at domestic. Sorry. Yeah. So
I'm curious with that kind of opening, what it tapped out overall.
I can look it up. I'm just using Box Office Mojo. You know how it doesn't love to just automatically include stuff. So yeah, give me a second. I'll give you the. I can give you the final on that.
All right.
But yes. So it started off with Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows at 169 on that opening. Iron Man 3 174 for that domestic opening. Beauty and the Beast 174, Rise of Skywalker 177, Civil War 179, Wakanda Forever 181. You know, so those are the movies you're kind of in the company with. But to keep it more recent, the Minecraft movie opened at 162. Okay. Barbie opened at 162. Okay. Inside Out opened at 154. So I don't necessarily believe even the Super Mario Brothers movie, another $1 billion movie, 146. So I don't necessarily believe that it's gonna hit 175 for a domestic opening. I do think it will. Maybe you're looking at 130 to 145 as it's like upper echelon, but I think we need to get closer to the actual day because are tickets even on sale yet?
No, not yet.
So then until that starts to happen, I think that we can't do that. But I think you got to keep in mind, hell, Avatar: The Way of Water 134, The Batman 134. I don't see 175. Even if this is
175 is a gigantic number.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And you have modern day mega blockbusters that didn't touch that number. So like post pandemic. So that's the only thing that I got to say about that. Where the one thing I hope Warner Brothers does not do as a mistake, I think one of the biggest mistakes they had was they overhyped The Flash so hard that it ended up hurting it in the long run. So I hope in this case that they keep the hype real because the movie does look good to me. I hope that the movie is fantastic, but don't oversell it so much that you actually turn people off.
But I think they're trying to put lipstick on a pig on that one. You know, this one I think they're. The other thing I was noticing, Coy, with this movie, because we all agree, I think all three of us really enjoyed the trailer, right? Yeah. I liked the story. I liked where they were going with it. I liked the tone. I liked the shift. I have talked about you and I, Coy, are different when it comes to Man of Steel. I really, really enjoyed it. I liked actually seeing the change because in the same argument that I give people for this one, they're like, oh, he's too... it's too comic accurate, or he looks too it looks like he's fighting aliens, he's doing this, there's no, it's not as grounded as Man of Steel. Yeah, but they're doing a change in the same way.
I think people misconstrue my Man of Steel thoughts because I give that film 3.5 stars, which is high. Okay. I like the movie. I just see it as a different canon.
It's a different version.
In the same way that Star Trek, the J.J. Abrams films were for people, and Star Trek, the OG, felt really different. I'm like that with Man of Steel. Like, I like the film as a film. It's not how I see the character at all. So like when I watch it, I'm not like, this is like reading the comics. I'm like, this is how Zack Snyder sees
I like
God.
that we have it though. And I like that we have that version of it. And I want to see this version of it. And the other thing that I think that I didn't even think about, because Man of Steel, it's not a version that like 6 or 7 year olds can check out. It just isn't. It's just not, it's, you know, you got him snapping necks, and it's more, it's more mature. And I'm never someone who's arguing against the more mature stuff. I think that Star Wars needs to take that shift in general, hence Andor. But on the flip side of that, I think that it looks like 6 or 7 year olds could, what maybe a little older, but in the range, could watch this movie. There's these fighting these big aliens. There's like, it's more comic accurate, and that's why maybe when you're looking at a 175 number or whatever it might be, if the buzz is that big, I mean, look at the trailers, look at the site, and getting that damned. Look, the dog. I think I'm going to get annoyed with the dog. However, I think it's brilliant to put him in there because of what I just said. The kids are going to come running towards it because of the dog.
Crypto laying on his chest at the end of the trailer. That was a little just human element that will get obviously the kids. That'll get some of the ladies that were like, oh, another superhero movie. I mean, I know who Superman. Oh, that dog's kind of cute. Like I like Kristen doesn't really care about Superman, but she would see Crypto and go, oh, okay, yeah, let's go see it. To answer your question about where some of these movies ended, so you obviously know Inside Out 2 hit 1.6 last year. Yep. Deathly Hallows 1.4. These are overall worldwide box offices at the end of it. Super Mario was 1.3, Beauty and the Beast 1.3, Iron Man 3 1.2. So if it opens in that range, most of these movies crossed $1 billion, but I still stand by the fact that this is like pandemic stuff. So it will just depend. And you do have Fantastic Four eating into your box office eventually.
Right.
So like there is different elements at play here that could make this very interesting. I think the one thing that just has to go, the movie just has to hit. Like at period.
Yeah.
Movie hits, then there we go.
If it hits, I mean, look, a big weekend's a big weekend. As we saw, like we said it about Thunderbolts, and we haven't got into it. It was all going to be at week 2. Week 2 wasn't great for Thunderbolts. Week two was fine. It was like what, 30 million? That's not the best. And it's a bummer.
What was the drop off? I actually don't know.
I think 55% or something, 55-60%, something like that.
Right now,
which is not great for that movie, especially how good the movie is.
It's at 280 overall worldwide. And then let's see, domestic. For this past weekend, it did
32 or something.
Yeah, roughly something like that. Because I see here that was last
weekend 3 or weekend 2 this weekend.
This is coming up to be weekend 3.
Right? This will be weekend 3. So Thursday was 4.2 million domestically. Friday was 9 million domestically. Saturday was 13.5 million domestically. Sunday was 9.7. Yeah. So. Yeah, it did fine. It definitely did fine. I think the weird part is they're not comparable. They're very different movies in what they're trying to do. But like when we just saw an epic non-drop out of Sinners, it's also like with Marvel trying to recover. It's just like,
it does. Okay. Well, it's also like I said, it's just not 2014 anymore, where you can take obscure characters and hope everybody goes and sees them, no matter if it's good or not. People just they're exhausted by all the comic book stuff. They're exhausted by it.
I also think it was interesting to see not only the leveraging of Ryan Coogler, but almost like borrowing credibility from Coogler. Like the Ironheart trailer felt like it was like, guys, it's a Marvel thing, but it's a Ryan Coogler thing. And that's a very different tone than they've taken. Like in the past, they've definitely made sure the directors were known, like especially once they got, a household name. Like the Russos had a very public facing thing for Endgame. James Gunn with Guardians, but it was really interesting to see Ironheart leverage that. And I do feel like that's in part because people aren't just knee-jerk react seeing Marvel things. I think they need to add the credibility of the filmmaker. They need to add like, guys, this is us looking at the filmmaker. And I think that's why we're hearing the rumors about Jake Schreier doing X-Men, is like they liked the result of Thunderbolts as far as the film, but they need to, I think we're entering an age of the quality has to be above and beyond for people to go to the theater. It's not going to just be a default brand thing. And so like, we're going to get less of them. They have to be better or this all goes away.
but it's a mixture of both, because I thought the quality of Thunderbolts is pretty damn good.
Oh, I think it's amazing. I think it's one of the better movies in a long time.
Yeah, and it's just like the Marvel IP ain't selling it anymore. It's got to be it's like Avengers will sell the IP. You know, that's going to get people in the theater. It's got to be a good movie, but the Avengers has an IP name that's going to get people in. Spider-Man's going to get people in the theater. Right now, you're at a spot where you cannot mess X-Men up. You cannot. You can't.
Oh, that's a wrap. If you mess up X-Men, that's a wrap.
You cannot mess up X-Men. You have to do it like it's your everything. You're in the end game for the multiverse thing. You're in the end game. You've got okay, I've got to shut down this stuff that I had. I got to close out the multiverse stuff. I got to close out strong, and then I just have to push into the X-Men. That's my plan. That's everything I'm going to do. But you can't mess it up. All right. What do you guys think about that overall in general? What say you? Put your thoughts in there. Got to know everything we discussed. Please do. Okay. Moving on to we're going to get to your questions in just a second, but speaking of the X-Men, there's some rumors going around right now. And there's another rumor. And this rumor is X-Men reboots. The leads revealed Coleman Domingo is eyed for Professor X, Daisy Edgar Jones for Jean Grey. A new rumor claims that Marvel Studios will build its X-Men cast around 3 specific characters, while we've also have news on the list who plays Professor X, Jean Grey. The trades recently revealed that the Thunderbolts New Avengers director Jake Schreier is set to direct Marvel Studios' X-Men reboot. Casting studios have been swirling for several months, though, suggesting he'll have a limited role in deciding who plays the MCU mutants. That's par for the course for any filmmaker who works in these movies, and 2 more big names have been added to the mix. Talking on the Hot Mic podcast today, Jeff Snyder said he's heard, similar to Vanessa Kirby in the Fantastic Four First Steps, Marvel Studios is building the X-Men around Xavier, obviously. Cyclops, there you go, for everybody who's hopefully waiting for that, and Jean Grey. Snyder no longer believes that Harris Dickinson will play Cyclops, following rumblings that Denzel Washington is being eyed for Magneto. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man star Coleman Domingo is reportedly in contention for Professor X. He's also learned that Twisters and what's the other one? And fresh star Daisy Edgar Jones has been this freaking thing is messing up on me. Sorry. Is the latest candidate to play Jean. She's a fantastic actress, and it's hard to imagine anyone finding fault with her casting if she was to be cast as the future Phoenix. As for Domingo, it's a fascinating possibility for Professor X and a huge get for Marvel Studios if he decides to play the X-Men founder. He's eager to join the MCU and has spoken highly of his experience with Marvel animation. It was recently reported that Kevin Feige has told colleagues he has a 10-year plan for the X-Men. The team's future being mapped out like that is extremely exciting and potentially even confirms reports about us seeing mutants in team-up projects, solo outings, and smaller screen spinoffs. Okay, we already got into all that. So these casting rumors. Coy, start with you. What do you think about the rumors?
You know, I really like Daisy Edgar Jones. I think she's such a movie star. Like, she has that presence of not just the screen, but in interviews and like just that ness, man. And I think we really need a next wave movie star cast for X-Men. I think it's not currently the era of cast unknowns and the IP will hold up. I think we need to balance IP and movie stars. Like, I think that they are leveraging Nicholas Hoult like they did with Superman, the original 1978 with Gene Hackman, and then you get an unknown for Superman. And I think that works. You've got an anchor, and then you've got the IP. You've got both. I think when X-Men, the original in 2000s came out, like Patrick Stewart was huge already, and then you were able to cast an unknown in Hugh Jackman and an up-and-comer in Anna Paquin. So I think if you've got a balance, that's going to be a way forward. I don't think they can necessarily gamble like they did with Thor anymore. Like, that was 2 unknowns, in Loki and Thor, like neither of those actors. And I remember that being really special and really wonderful, and it worked out then, but I don't know if that works right now. So I think you need a mix of known and resumed up, and then the characters. And I think Daisy Edgar Jones is the most exciting name on that list for me. I think in Twisters it was like, oh wow, Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones are 2 movie stars. And when I went to the premiere, the presence of actors, sometimes you go and you're like, oh, cool, a face that I know. Like the human mind looking at an actor, they're like, that's exciting. Like when you run into a character actor at the gas station, it's like, like it's a fun little, like, that's a face.
Not
like that, but that's what it feels like. Your brain's just like a pattern. I recognize it. But when you're around someone that has like, oh, that's a movie star, there's a different thing. And I think both Glenn and Daisy have that. And I would love her as Jean Grey. That's the biggest pop for me.
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting to see what she brings to it. I'm curious. I will tell you though, when it comes to the casting of Coleman Domingo, who I like a lot, I will say this, and I think that it is. I just feel like the whole thing is going to turn into a culture war battle now. It's gonna if you put Denzel and Coleman as X, Professor X, and I get it. It's Malcolm X, it's Martin Luther King. I get that's the whole reason of those two characters in general. Pretty much what it was. I think it's gonna take away, and it doesn't mean you don't cast them, but I'm just telling you, it's gonna take away from it because that's what the whole thing is going to be. There's going to be 1,000 people before, but these are two brilliant actors. Before anything else happens, it's just going to be about the fact you got two black actors now playing X and Magneto. That's what's going to be. I like the idea of Magneto and Denzel and what they were doing there. I think it was an interesting idea because they're not putting it in the 1940s, and you can change it. You can change the history. I think that there's more to. I think that having a comic accurate this is for me. This is not going to be for everybody. I think a more comic accurate Professor X is something that I think most people are going to want to see. It's something that I want to see, to be honest. I think Coleman Domingo should be cast in the MCU, and you get him as soon as you can. I would have liked to see him as Kang. I would like to see him as someone else. I don't think this is the way to go. Just personally, because I think it's just going to be this is what's going to become about. And I want it to be about, in general, the X-Men. You can find a great role for Coleman. You really can. You can find him to do. You should give him his own movie. The guy's that guy's a star. But this might be a mistake. But it could be brilliant. But Winston, how do you feel about it?
See, the rough part about it is I think that Coleman and Denzel, if given the opportunity, would destroy. They would be fantastic. And I think what they would bring to the characters would work. People love to already, the culture war of it is like, well, Magneto's Jewish, you're going to blackwash or whatever nonsense people want to say about that and pretend like black Jews don't exist. Don't get me started on that nonsense. But my more important part about it is this: when you just consider that the time and age that we're in right now and how things are going, how things are being talked in the political sphere and everything else about movies, and how Disney has been, pointed at for doing certain stuff one way or the other. We shouldn't even be bothering with this. You should be looking at the best person for the job, and the two of them would be amazing. But I slightly agree with you with the fact that that's what this will be, and that would destroy me because I love the X-Men so much, and I don't want to deal with that shit. I would rather just have a very, very good X-Men movie. Now, I don't necessarily see anything wrong, since Denzel was talking about Black Panther 3 before everything else. Who knows as far as any multiversal stuff, if that's something else going on. I don't know, but sadly, yes, I think we just almost need to stay away from it just because it's just going to be a disaster. There's no clean way out of this in the day and age that we're in right now.
Yeah, and I just feel like, it's like, okay, like we just talked about, we got this whole, the X-Men is going to be this whole thing. It's going to be the next stage. And like you can do, okay, look, got Denzel as Magneto, got a new actor as Professor X, and you'll hear the bitching about it at one point. Oh, Denzel, he's not, like you said, Winston, he's not. Magneto was always white. He was always this. He's like, it's Denzel, you can do it. But when you do, okay, well, wait a minute, it's significantly different. Now you have two black actors who are playing the two main characters. There are going to be people that's all they're going to talk about. That's it. It's no longer about who's playing the next Cyclops and who's doing this. It's just like, look what Disney's doing again. They're doing it again, and that's what the whole marketing is going to be about.
I mean, we don't even know yet.
Don't bend the knee, but still.
No, I feel you. I mean, Fantastic Four hasn't come out yet. We don't know what universe the X-Men are actually in, so there's all that kind of stuff. But like, even just the idea of literally going a Malcolm Martin direct kind of situation, that instead of being Malcolm and Martha, maybe they are in the Fantastic Four universe that we're about to get.
Yeah,
right?
Melissa, listen to the full argument. If you just jumped in, you can't just write a comment like that. I love you, Melissa, but you gotta listen to the whole comment.
But either way, what I was gonna say was, let's say in that Fantastic Four world that Malcolm and Martin, maybe that's where the mutants are, and maybe that was it. They were fighting race and mutant kind, trying to defend them. You know what I'm saying? That could actually be a very interesting dynamic to watch happen. It's exactly that. I just know that when you talk about how quickly this would just turn into a storm, right. No pun intended, and we can't then focus on the movies themselves, it is incredibly frustrating that I even feel that I'm taking this stance right now. But I'm also just looking at the writing on the walls, and that is kind of the issue.
Yeah, no, I know, Melissa. I know you didn't accuse anybody. I'm just saying, like, that's it, because you jump into it and you hear that. Of course, first thing you say is, "What? He shouldn't play?" It's like, no. When it comes to everything that's going on in general, and again, it's not by any means saying you should bend the knee because you don't want to hear, people screaming and yelling about it. But it's also a matter of, okay, do you also want to put the actors through that? Do you want to put Coleman Domingo through that, who is a fantastic actor? He's a great actor. He's an Oscar caliber actor. And you're like, oh, welcome to the MCU. And all people are going to talk about now is the fact that you're a black man playing, Professor X. And other people will say, because he's a black gay man playing Professor X. So they're going to be going after that now. And it's going to be all about that. And he's going to get drug into it. If I'm him, I'm going, fuck that. I don't want to do that. I don't blame him if he says no.
I'm gonna go the other way. I think it's the X-Men, and it's about these prejudices and a world.
It is.
No, but I think if there's ever a franchise that should say, I am down to offend racists, it's this one. Like, if there's ever a franchise that is going to be like, the voice of Coleman Domingo is perfect and sonorous. He's got the ability to be a leader. He's got the ability to be a teacher, but he's also got the ability to be like a little intimidating. Like when he was rumored for Kang, I was like, I love that Coleman seems like the sweetest dude on the planet, but like on carpets and he's all dressed and possessed. But I was like, that man, he could totally find the darkness of Kang. And I think Xavier needs, so all of the ingredients that make Xavier, Coleman has. And there's not a single part of Coleman, of Professor Charles Xavier's whiteness that matters to the character, like Blade being black or Black Panther being black or Jubilee being Asian even. Like, there isn't a factor in the X-Men of Xavier that matters. And then if you already brought up Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, that is an undercurrent. So if we are modernizing, there is a difficulty in the Jewish element that I don't have the knowledge to speak to. And there is the element of Black Jewish people that aren't as represented that I don't know enough about to speak to either. I'm just acknowledging that as a factor. Don't want anyone to feel like that's not part of the culture. But I do think that Marvel's in a very precarious position about how they're perceived.
Right.
If there was ever a property to go, here's your, white 5 X-Men like it was in the 60s, but then you've got the two leaders that represent this cultural ideal that is split, like Martin and Malcolm. That is, I think, a statement to be made that is worth fighting for. And I think if there was ever heat, and what made me think of this was Kristian saying, like, putting Coleman Domingo through that. If there was ever a role that would be a statement, a stand to make, it's this one. Like, if there was ever a role that would be worth the heat, it's him going like, you know what, I'm going to take this because it's the X-Men and we deserve better. I
don't disagree with you on that. I think it's a very good point. Like I said, it's not that I don't think he could play the role. I think he could play the role in his sleep. He's brilliant. It's that, again, if I was his agent, if I was him, I'd say, and I get your point. I would say, why would I want to do this? Why do I want to do this role that's been played many times? All I'm going to do is, I'm just, and I get it. The power role of saying, yeah, that's what this role is. The whole point is that you are basically proving what the people who don't want the mutants around, that's what you're doing. And you can use that in the marketing. You could, but the business side of me is always taking charge, because right now
someone would like that. Just as he seems as a man.
I mean, because there's one argument, it's the X-Men. It's going to perform. It's the X-Men. Right. And there's the other side of it. It's only, what if it doesn't? Because we're just got a bunch of, because as you guys know, the hate marketing is strong these days, and it causes damage. And you cannot have damage to this brand right now. So it's a very tricky situation. Like I said, you win if you get actors of that caliber in Coleman and Denzel on your movie. You win. The question is, do you win in the toxicity side of it? And will it hurt your movie? Do you do exactly what Coy said, which is maybe the answer of, yeah, we're doubling down. F you guys. Here we go. Look who we got. This is our new X-Men. Suck on it.
And I'm not saying personally, as someone who loves these movies and love the what the story is, I'm not saying like every single character changed them from who they are.
Yeah.
I'm saying these two characters in particular, those elements are applicable to the nature of this casting. And that's what matters to me is if someone has an important factor as part of their identity, that should be represented. And that's why I completely preface the lack of Jewish awareness. Like, I don't know, but I also think that it is a really tricky thing at the timing of Marvel making these movies. That I want to
that to me. I'll tell you this much. That is the only thing that I am talking about. I think this is a genius idea. I just think the timing of the way things are playing out is more the problem. You know what I'm saying? If you had done this a couple years ago, something like that, I don't think I would have been like, F them. I don't care. Because I remember when Zoe Kravitz got cast as Selena Kyle, and people were like, oh, how good? Oh my God, how dare you? And she crushed it. And all people talk about with the Batman is how fantastic the Batman was. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you're exactly right, Quay, if there was ever a property to do this, this is it. But it's just the timing of shit. That's the issue.
It's the timing. It is absolutely the timing of it for sure. We're there because, again, 2014, 2015, go for it. You're making $1 billion probably with it. It's just it's tough in general, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. What do you guys make of it? I think we had a nice debate, nice discussion in general with the three of us, and I'm sure that there were so many nice people in the comment section. Actually, I think there were a lot of nice people for sure. Now, I can't speak on that for people on the replay or on the Clips channel, but hey, nonetheless, we're allowed to have our opinions. I hope you have yours, and I hope you represent it well. Okay. Well, that's it for now as far as the movie stories go, or news stories rather. Real quick, we're going to before we jump into the questions, I'm going to tell you guys about Cash App, and then we'll get into it. So right now, you guys are at 31. You need 85 to tie. 85 to tie. All right, let's get into Cash App. Here it is. You know, a lot of times, especially for my business, I got to find ways to send people kashish. You got to send them cash. And it's so frustrating, some of these programs, whether you get a big fee that they include. It's like, oh, we're going to take, we can send it, but we're going to take 80%. It's like, what? And sometimes you send the money by accident to the wrong person, and you're like, oh no, how do I get that back? And or sometimes you just try to get the cash, and then it's like, oh, there's a processing delay, and they don't really tell you why. Well, not anymore, because Cash App, that's the way to go. Why? Cash App is a safe, it's easy, it's a fast way to send, receive, and transfer money to family and friends. It's so easy to get started. It's like, you know, I get frustrated with stuff quick. I didn't have to call Brett for this one. I just did it. I just signed up. Money shows up right away. You don't have to wait around for days. It's your money. You don't have to wait for it. And the best part is that they also have your back. It's about sending money. And if you're going to send money and you're going to send it to a sketchy account or a scam, there's a warning that pops up. Do you feel more relaxed knowing that Cash App has your back? You should, because that's how I felt. If you don't have Cash App, I'm going to ask you this question. What the hell is wrong with you? Get it. It's so easy. You can just, next time, by the way, when you're at dinner with somebody, like, I'll get you back next time. You go, nope, we can just split it through Cash App. Don't let them get away with it. Limited time only. New Cash App users can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real, no catch. You just download Cash App and sign up. Use our exclusive referral code, Kristian, in your profile. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you're going to get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. All right. Thank you to Cash App, and I hope that everybody is using it, and I hope that you're using our code. Helps out the show tremendously. All right. Real quick before we get into the questions, Winston, what's going on in the channel, man?
Absolutely. When we're done here, you can go and check out my reactions to the new Superman trailer, to the Ironheart trailer. Those should both be up by early this afternoon. After that, I am wrapping on the feature that I'm working on this weekend. After it's going to be 3 long overnights, but I'm looking forward to it. And then we are back to business, man. So you can come in, check out the Blurred Breakdown, come and stream with me, stuff like that. Gonna be putting a lot more content out now that I've got some more time back on my hands. You can also find me on Tuesdays with Roca for Spill the Tequila, and obviously you always find me here on Fridays. So definitely come say what is up at the Swaggy Blurred.
You can check out my page at Koijandra right here in the YouTubes. I just been covering Last of Us on Sundays. Just wrapped up my Andor coverage with the finale on Tuesday, breaking all that down with such an honor. I really loved Andor, talking about that. Usually Wednesdays or Thursdays, I do my favorite comics of the week. I read 50 to 70 comics a week, and I give you my favorite 9 from the week prior, giving me the week to read it before I do my live and cover all the comic book news. This week, I covered the Superman trailer as well as the Ironheart trailer, plus the announcement of a certain character popping up in Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Got all of that, plus Final Destination review is up, Mission Impossible review is up, and as of this morning, an interview with the stunt coordinator on everything from Endgame to Winter Soldier to the new Captain America 4, celebrating that home video release. All of that just this week on the channel, and we're at like 46K, so we're almost to 50K. And you can find me on DC High Volume every month over on DC's YouTube. You can find me every 2 weeks on DC Studios YouTube for DC Studios Showcase. You can find me on my podcast, Koicast. You can find me 3 to 4 videos a week over on Rail Rejects, and you can find me in the ground in the next 10 years if I keep this much up.
Jesus Christ.
So I gotta tell Luke right now. So when we were running that the Cash App, for some reason I signed out of StreamYard. So all the majority of the chat is not, I don't have, but I do have the starred super chats. So there's a chance that I might have missed a few here. So if I do, Luke, if you can email them to me, that would be wonderful. So let's get everybody in frame here, Winston, if you can. Coy, let's start with this one. Eric Slabby, respectfully, Kristian, why do you seemingly dislike Filoni? Seems like every time you talk about him and his Star Wars projects, both past and present, only the negative aspects are spoken about, with the positives rarely mentioned. First of all, I love the way that was phrased. I really do. I think it was a nice way to ask. What's your beef is what the guy's saying, but he just asked a question. First of all, I don't dislike Filoni. I've interviewed him a handful of times. He's a very nice guy. He's a very nice guy. Every time I've talked, he was very generous with his time. He was very nice. I don't like the way he's running Star Wars. I don't like what he's doing. I think that his philosophies and things that I've heard, I just don't like his philosophy on it, to where he thinks that he knows Star Wars, and he will never say this. And it's if he does, I know for a fact there's certain projects that he's crushed that could have been wonderful. I know that there's ideas and philosophies he doesn't think that George would like, so he doesn't let things pass. And I think he's a gatekeeper mentality when it comes to Star Wars. And he's not the end-all be-all. And I feel like you give him the keys to the castle as Thanos with the glove. That's my problem with him running Star Wars. And I think his projects right now, because the same thing when I was watching Tales from the Underworld, whatever, it's like it's the same. It's just Filoni's world. It's not Star Wars anymore. It's Filoni's world. Andor to me was more Star Wars than anything else. It was a take an idea off of what the galaxy is and all this. Everything now is it's a Filoni verse. It's not Star Wars anymore. So that's my issue in general with him, is what he's done to Star Wars. Not him as a person. He's a nice guy. Everyone's like you can't. But again, that's the whole thing when it comes to this. People take everything personally when it comes to when you're in this space where you're criticizing. You look at, again, like Winston with sports. If you're a team, you're looking at a team and that you're like, oh, it's my favorite team, and the coaching it's terrible. I don't like the coach right now.
You mean
like,
just Nico Harrison as a GM for the fucking Mavs?
Yeah,
excuse my
right.
language. Yes.
Yeah, well, he just got saved with his draft thing.
Yeah, it's clearly rigged. I can go on a full. That's going to be on my channel this week. Actually, how rigged this shit is.
Well, you're happy it's rigged. So right. So Coy right now. Here's this. Wait.
Filoni, Cowboys, cowboy hats.
Yeah.
Cowboy
I wasn't
hat.
even talking about the Cowboys. That's how you know he's lost.
No, he's talking about the cowboy hat with Filoni. But anyway, so yeah, I did hate. There's no hate for Dave Filoni. I'd go to dinner with him if it was asked. I don't have like anything against him. I just don't like the way he's running Star Wars. And I think if they give him the keys to the castle, B Gill Studios, love you guys. Haven't chatted in a while. Been busy. Thank you, B Gill. Busy with the new film. It comes out on May 30th. That's amazing.
Awesome.
Boy, question: did you get a new place?
So I'm filming in a new place. I got a space to film in, and I'm building it out like a studio. So I'll be able to actually get a whole setup. So yeah, all this behind you, everything you see when I'm filming is new. But yeah, I'm like excited to build out a studio and get some lights and stuff. I actually have a bunch of lights Kristian gave me when he moved that I can finally set up.
It's amazing. Simon
Which,
Section.
by the way, real quick, Kristian, your new setup looks fantastic, man.
It was dope.
Well, look what Simon Section says. Love it. Look at the studio. Kudos to Brett, who was in here all last week. Kristian actually looks cool and distinguished. Look at that. Nobody thought he'd be able to do that. And apparently now married to a black woman, according to TikTok. Did someone actually say that I was married to a black woman?
You're married to a black.
That's how you guys.
I can't even tell you how many people I'm married to. Someone called me recently and said, I thought your wife's name was Sadie. I said, it is. They said, well, I looked you up and it said you're married to someone named Miri. And I said, no, I'm like,
I gotta look this up.
It says I'm married to it, and it has a whole thing. They said, I said, no, that is the stupid, and the facts are all over. Like, we got married in 2010. We have one daughter. It's like people. This is the thing. This is why, like, if it's a low level freaking D- YouTube personality like myself that people are making lies about, like, I can only imagine the kind of crap that is coming out about other people. And so, yeah, you gotta let me know who might what are you, Simon, are you making that up? Where do you hear that? That's hilarious.
I really want to know where that is. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Go, pal. When I was in the graduate dorm, the squirrels would push open my window screen, come into my room, and rip off my stuff unless I kept my window locked. I'm telling you, Coy, I had squirrels, as I used to talk about on Schmoes all the time, at my old place, not the one that you guys came to, but the one before that. And they were a-holes. They were probably they came into the place, they ran around. I always felt like they were going to attack me and the kids. The ones at the place that you guys used to come to, they were very nice squirrels. They didn't bother me.
So they don't carry the rabies virus, but apparently they do carry the plague. So I've got to be mindful the next 5 days to see if I have the plague.
And you get sick. You get sick walking by.
When I get sick, I get like, so this would be what killed me. At least I got killed by the plague. That'd be kind of dope.
I don't know that.
I don't want to die, but like as you go.
I still don't think that's a good way to go. Let's see. So let's see. Next one after that. And this is Eric Slaby. On a lighter note, keep killing it. Your Lewis Pullman interview was fantastic. And your Andor reactions and opinions have been awesome. See, that this is why I'm a big fan of Eric Slaby. It's like, thank you. I appreciate that in general. That was very nice of you to say, especially after asking a question in general. But Filoni, and I appreciate the nice words. Spider Sensei 72. Cool. Is that a Spider-Man popcorn bucket on the shelf behind you? If not, what is it? And where can I buy one too?
Those are Spider-Man foam fingers doing the thwip that I got from hosting the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer event with Tom. So those are a pair of Spider-Man mitts. I got tons of stuff behind me, including popcorn buckets, but those are that. And then there's popcorn buckets over there. Like I said, I'm just getting set up. It's coming together.
It's coming together. All right. Next one after that. And this is Eric Slaby again. Do you guys think that Wayne Industries will make a cameo in Superman, like a name drop or a building? A Bruce Wayne name drop would be fun too. I think Gotham will be mentioned.
Something at the planet. I think something at the planet. It'll be like it'll be quick. And Wayne Tech did blah 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 or something like that. Or the Wayne Industries is up X amount of percent, and that'll be it. I don't think we're gonna see a Wayne building. I don't think we're gonna see a Bruce Wayne or even hear Bruce Wayne. But that might be the only thing in my guess.
I agree. I think that Gotham maybe, but also there's like Stag Industries, there's Lord Tech, there's all the companies because they're, Metamorpho and obviously Luther doing what he's doing. So I could see Wayne Tech and or Gotham.
Okay, Wayne Tech and or Gotham. I think they're probably definitely mention it for sure. Beagle Studios. I honestly think that Coy is correct. I think they're going to combine Spider-Gwen and Mayday together and have Mayday be maybe Ghost Spider.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an element of the comic right now, and I think they're going to have her be like multiversal, like Ghost Spider is, and I think they're going to make it all work. And like, I love the idea of that for Sadie Sink. I think she's worth being that kind of character. What number are we at, Kristian? I want to know where the competition.
40.
All right, halfway.
Halfway. Okay.
Yeah, 45. So 45 to tie. Yeah. Okay. Next one, Chris Lessenfeld. Squirrel Stampede. Oh, yeah.
Hey, that is a specific Marvel Rivals reference, and I love it.
Matt Krugman. Coy, you got a chance to read Invincible Battle Beast #1 this week? If so, what do you think? And Kristian, Winston, are you fans of the show? Don't know what that is.
It's Invincible. But yeah, it was fun. I mean, I really love that world of Invincible. I think it's always exciting to see it get to carry on and expand out. And yeah, that was great.
Winston. Yeah, I mean, I love Invincible. I feel like I'm the only one that's fully caught up on it. Unless, Coy, did you finally go back and watch it? Because I know Kristian hasn't. He loves to be like, you're never going to believe what happened. I still haven't watched Invincible.
What's going to be funny is when he watches it like on April Fool's Day. We don't believe it.
You're not going to believe me. Yeah.
He cried Wolf Invincible. He cried Invincible.
Yep. You're not going to believe it at all. I will say, you know, it's so funny. I can't wait for you guys. There is, and I tell everybody this. Sam and I watched Moon Knight episodes 1 and 2, and something happens at the end of the review that is one of the funniest things. I laughed so hard that I scratched into my eye and cut myself. Look, like we were rolling at the end of it. Like something happens, and you, Winston, you will laugh your ass off. When you see
that, you said that's the Moon Knight one.
Moon Knight.
All right, I'll check it out.
That everyone, that it'll be a moment. It'll be a moment. Chris Lessenfeld, Coy, that sounds terrifying. Glad you're okay. Maybe they were radioactive and you turn into Squirrel Boy. Much love, boys.
I've been out here trying to talk to the squirrels in LA. I've been trying to like see what kind of powers I have. You know, if I actually thought I had the plague, I wouldn't be holding my cat. So I feel like it'll be just an odd anecdote of 2025 by week's end.
Eric follows this up and says, are you guys surprised that Thunderbolts hasn't done better in the box office considering the positive fan and critic reactions? Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, I'm surprised where it's like, you know, maybe you think that, okay, look, this is a good movie. Maybe I'll go check it out. But no, because again, in the world of streaming, what we have, the other things we have to watch, the other movies that are coming out, the comic book fatigue right now, which is real. No, not as surprised.
And by the nature of things, it's doing well. It's just not doing what they were potentially hoping. So, like, for example, it's already about to potentially catch Brave New World, which still was sitting at almost 400 mil. You obviously wanted more, considering I was reshot a couple times and people question about the budget. But what we found, the only movies that like blow up and do that, they have to hit a cultural zeitgeist. And that's what Barbie did. That's what Oppenheimer did. That's what Super Mario did. That's what Minecraft is doing right now. So like it's doing well for a movie, but it's not doing well for what maybe Marvel wanted.
I agree. I think that it's going to get in the black, and I think probably next week. I think, you know, it's 175 million budget or whatever, so times 2, 350. It's at, you know, near that now. I think it'll be, you know, but it's not going to be like the profit or cultural shift. I think we're seeing a shift in budget. I think we're seeing a shift in expectation. I think that after Avengers, we're going to see smaller budgets for a more often movie. If they're saying 3 movies a year, which I think is what they said at the upfronts maximum, I could see 1 or 2 of those being a much smaller budget than one big one. I think everything's just kind of shifting, which is natural. Like musicals were huge, Westerns were huge, like things ebb and flow. I also think there's a bigger conversation to be had on the macro of the movie industry. Like streaming is murdering and like binging is killing TV shows, and there is a lot of content and a lot's garbage. So I think people have different expectations. I think people are going to the movies less, and I think that we need to shift that mindset and then also that expectation of box office. So a lot of things have to change if we want to keep this going.
Yeah. Okay, this is Shay Markel not watching the Ironheart trailer. I want to walk in fresh. Fair enough. Follows it up. I know nothing about this character, and even though I didn't connect with Riri much in Black Panther 2, I love an earnest, fun, and more contained story about her. Same. That's a good assessment there, Shay. Darth Tatter, give us 2 great Batman film, and the general audience won't care about being 2. I disagree.
Yeah, I disagree.
At the same time, if you're putting them on around if it's a year within each other, 2 years within each other, maybe. But if they're too close to each other,
I think it'd be a year or 2 apart. I don't think they put them out the same year. But
yeah, I don't. Yeah, if they're both great, it's not a matter of they're gonna care. It's gonna be confusing.
I mean, if we got like 2 Batman movies every 3 or 4 years, I think people would be stoked. I just think they can't come out the same year. Right. That fatigue wise, but if you have one, you know, fun, free spirited one and one dark brooding detective one, I think it just wins. But I can see your concern, like generally.
Yeah. Oh shoot. Oh yeah, Winston, I forgot to show you this.
Wait, can you move the comments so I can see this?
Oh, it's good. Oh, it's
amazing.
Good.
That is absolutely phenomenal.
He is the vengeance.
Batman.
He's the vengeance. He's the white. He's the mother in Batman.
Old Man Mike asks 100 Squirrels versus 1 Paul Giamatti Batman. Thank you to Nuzat for
that's incredible.
I think 100 Squirrels. I learned.
Yeah,
dude. Corey, you got respect for Squirrel Girl now, right? You understand 100%. How she beat Thanos.
That's how she beat Doom. I get it.
Yep. Eric Kirby. Winston, thoughts on the last episode of Last of Us? I see some people calling what Ellie did a racial hate crime. Calling that for all you guys. No
Are we
one
serious?
said that. No one said that. That's
no. I wouldn't put past people trying to say that, and that is effing absurd. And that is where all of a sudden now real conversations we're having can't be taken seriously because people will throw out anything and try. No,
she's killing anybody that had anything to do with the scenario that happened in episode 2.
Exactly.
What are you talking about? Not you, Eric. I know Eric's not the one who's saying that, but I'm just saying, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no, I know Eric wasn't the one that did it. You're just what you're seeing.
Right. Yes.
If anybody that says that is a joke to me. There is nothing about that reads that way at all. But hey, I love the episode. But
Eric Slabby, with IP and quality being so important for Marvel movies, do you think that the Fantastic Four IP is big enough to draw people into theaters for multiple weeks? The IP itself is never really the one that gets everybody in there. It's week 2 being a good movie that with the drop off not hitting for any movie, whether it's big IP or not. Mission Impossible is going to be the same thing. Mission Impossible has a huge IP. It's going to have a big opening weekend. Can it keep people in with a 2-hour and 50-minute movie? Which, again, I don't know. Coyd, did you love the movie? Did you like it?
I love the second 2 acts.
Yeah,
the first act's rough for me.
It's a
and
long
I think
movie.
that's going to be concerning.
I'm with you. The story's a little bloated. It's a little bloated,
and they made it as if no one had ever seen a Mission Impossible before, which is weird.
Yeah, I'm with you. There were some people.
But once it got going,
yeah, there's 2 scenes that I've been mentioning that everyone's mentioning that are just you're on the edge of your seat. The problem was Mission Impossible was never about just the scenes. It's about the story and the cleverness, and that has been gone for the last 2 movies.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's going to have its core audience, but I don't know if it's not going to gain anyone new, and the opening act feels like it's trying to do that and not correctly. But you still leave going, IMF, like you have that vibe walking out. But it's a 3 hour movie.
That movie needs to make a lot of money for a 3-hour movie. It would cost like $350 million or something.
Well, and he also paid this and the last one. He was paying for people while COVID shut down, and I think he was paying people within the strikes and stuff. So I think the budget's crazy. Yeah,
it's crazy. Old man Mike says, I'll say this: redheads won big last week. What happened with the redheads?
Some things started where now people are saying that all gingers are black people as well. So then there's been this really funny just zeitgeist of people then being like, oh, okay, if that's the case, well, we can't make soul food though, because we don't have souls. Like there's been a lot of just really funny jokes of things like that in there, and that's
Winston, here's my moment. I don't get to do this often. I got to correct you. That was a hard R. It's ginger. All right.
Excuse me. You're right.
I appreciate the hard R and ginger.
You're right, my ginger. My
Thank
fault.
You. I appreciate it. That's all I ask. Thank you.
Hold on.
Thank you for respecting the boundaries.
I want to make sure
Yeah, that was probably smart, Kristian. Just walk away.
Yeah, it's a second. Hey, the culture, Kristian.
That's right. Sam Thomas. Denzel said he's done acting after Black Panther 3. Don't count on it. Yeah, no way. Don't see it.
No, he said he had a few things. He said he had Black Panther 3. He said he was going to do Othello again. He said there was a few things that he said he was doing, and then from that point forward, he wanted to really focus on directing and producing, which makes sense.
Joseph Wood. Coy, thoughts on the Eisner Award nominations? I'm banking on Ultimate Spider-Man and Absolute Batman to win their respective categories. And Helen of Wyndham is going to clean up. Much love.
How the turntables. In brief,
turntables. How the tables have turned.
How the turntables.
Are you playing? Are you a DJ?
So what's it called? The Eisners are like the Oscars for comics. It's like our big award ceremony. And this is a year where there's actually a bit of, this is kind of like Black Panther getting nominated. This is like a lot of big mainstream comics are getting nominated, and it's usually a little bit more niche. So it's a nice blend of mainstream and great independent books. I'm really excited about the nominations. I agree. Both Absolute and Ultimate are the best of their characters in a long time. So I think it's cool to see. And then Helen of Windhorn is the artist and writer of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. So seeing that recognition in an indie book is dope. So I'm with you. Excited.
All right. Thank you very much for that one. Going into the next one here. And that is from Moguero. I think Miles only works if Peter dies.
I think that it's a legacy character that works if there's multiverse elements, Peter dying, a reason Peter doesn't want to be Spider-Man. Them as a duo, I think also works, but not for too long to where it overshadows Miles. I think there needs to be a reason for Miles to be solo, but they work for a time together. But I definitely think in cinema, you need Miles to be able to be his own guy.
Yeah, Go, pal. I get that a group of people would lose their minds at two black actors as Professor X and Magneto, but the one qualm I have is the age difference.
That is fair because Coleman could really play a range of ages, but Denzel is looking older now.
Yeah.
You can use tech, you can use makeup to kind of age him down, but he is looking decently older than Coleman. So that is actually a very fair criticism of just about the two of them. They're supposed to be contemporaries.
Right. I'm hoping that they don't change too much about like the actual core of the story, as who they are as
how they relate to each other.
Right. Right. Matt Krugman, Ray Fiennes for President Snow in New Hunger Games. Is he really?
Is that confirmed?
How do you feel about that? Oh, that makes sense. How do you feel about that? I personally thought Kiefer Sutherland was the right answer. That would have been good.
I mean, I can't believe it's not. He looks so much like his dad every day.
He does, but they don't act the same. I know. I'm not saying that he couldn't go do what his dad does, but you know what I'm saying? Like they do have very distinctive styles. That's the only
thing. But Kiefer's got some range, and but
of course,
but Ray Fiennes is going to have a significantly different take on Snow because you got three versions of Snow now. You got the young kid who just played him, and then you got now Ray Fiennes. That's interesting. I would have liked
Ray Fiennes, so that's intriguing.
Too. I mean, you don't go wrong with casting him, but I think I would have liked. Yeah, Kiefer would have been the right choice for sure. Andrew Carnes, 2 Batman at the same time is a mistake if you want DCU to thrive. Imagine having to release a trailer for the DCU batch just a few months before the Pattinson film release. Yeah, that's the point. If this movie comes out in 2027, that's what I'm trying to say. Like if you look, all right, Superman hits, it's huge. It's a big movie. And like, okay. And by the way, I don't know if you guys saw the story yesterday. I think that Brendan Sklar, if Superman hits, will be announced as the new Batman within the end of this year or early next year, if it is. Because did you see the story so basically what happened was there was this project that Taylor Sheridan had for Yellowstone and everything, and the rest of it blew up, and they Warner Brothers had it and they lost it and turned around, and then it went to Paramount Plus, and then obviously Taylor Sheridan does 1923 with Sklar. So there's this project again that they get it, and so Sheridan wants to direct this. It's like about a special ops kind of guy, the darker past, who goes and kicks some ass. And so Sklar is going to be the guy for Sheridan. Well, Zaslav goes out of his way to buy it from Paramount Plus to get the rights for it, to do it with Sheridan and Sklar. I don't think that's a coincidence. Warner Brothers really wants to be in business with both of them, is what I think. And I think that's what's going to happen. Now, whether or not James Gunn wants him or not, I don't know, but we'll see. Anyway, so if that movie, if Batman does come out, Superman crushes, it does well, 2025, and then you would hope that you could get your Batman out by 2027, but you probably have, if Batman 2 comes out in 2027, you'll have to push it to 2028. So you're not going to have your Batman until 3 years from now. Is that enough time? Is it too much time?
Personally, DC has always been DC is detective comics. Like DC is very Batman heavy, but I think they're really trying to front load different characters this time. So I could see 2028 being realistic just from that perspective. You get Superman, then Supergirl, and then we don't know what the full lineup's going to be by 2027, but I could see 2028 being realistic for that first wave of characters.
Winston?
I think Coy's correct. I think you just need to space it. That's it.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Next one after that, and this says, who would be your pick for the main villain of the Mutant Saga if it's not Doom? Any actors in mind for that role?
I stand by it. I've said it a million times. Mr. Sinister, and my vote is for Ryan Gosling, though I think they've been tying Javier Bardem to it recently, which I don't hate, but that would not have been my choice.
He's fun. That's a quirky take. He's got that energy, that magnanimous, weird psycho energy. Yeah. I like Mr. Sinister a lot. I think there's also really cool potential to finally do Sentinels right in a first movie, because if you think about villains, they need to have backstory, and I think you could do a really cool movie where you give all of your time to the X-Men and forming those relationships, and then have Sentinels be developed and the Sentinels become the Force, and then you have like an Emperor Palpatine, someone in the background to set up a trilogy. And I just want to see Sentinels. So I do like a Sentinel heavy first movie.
Okay. Next one after that. And this one is from Eric Slaby, who says, Besides the roles you mentioned, Corey, are there any other comic roles you think should be comic accurate and be Latino /white/black/Asian?
I don't think about this very often. I'm pretty big on the opposite, where it's like if they're good for a role, they play a role. I'm big on like Irish people getting to be, Irish, because we don't see a lot of like redhead Irish actors playing those roles. But that is also like, a very niche on niche. Ireland's like 17 million people. So it's a different thing than like a lot of these, which is like cultural identity is really important to me. And there are Irish roles that I feel like have been miscast by not having Irish people. But at the same time, like, I don't think of the characters being directly tied to their thing. Like Jubilee is, I think Psylocke is in an interesting way because it's two different races in a very unique way. And that's part of her cultural identity. I think obviously Black Panther and anyone in that universe, because Wakanda is very specific. I think that there are some characters in DC, but a lot of the beauty of DC is that they're fictionalized cities that allow you to parallel the things. Like I personally see Jimmy Olsen as a very pale and freckled guy because that ties into the earnestness of the time and the earnestness of the character. But like Jimmy being Irish is just kind of my mental canon. So Skylar Gisondo not being Irish doesn't really affect me. So those kind of things, it's more variable. Winston, do you have any specifics? Storm?
I stand by, and that's why I understand where people are coming with the Magneto thing is if it is paramount to the core and the background of the character, it would need to be something, if you were going to switch it, that you could make it switch because there's a parallel to it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that would be like the main thing. So which is why people have said, even just to even talk about Magneto again for half a second, if let's say he was in any of the number of genocides that have happened in Africa, that if you're tying it to something like that for it's a more modern age.
Well, we even had that here too. So as Shelf President said, unfortunately, genocide has touched many cultures. Denzel as a survivor can work and be respectful. Denzel doing an accent is something else. It's not the best. Not yeah. You ever see that clip of him doing the British accent?
Woo!
It's not good. No pal. Hating on casting Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman is extra funny in light of Eartha Kitt
playing the role 60 years ago. That's exactly right.
Speaking of Zoe Kravitz, she's so good in the studio.
Dude, are you fully caught up?
Yeah, I'm fully.
I'm watching it tonight.
All right.
Sal Saperstein.
No, that's not the latest one.
Oh, a new one. Oh,
no, last week's I forgot. The Golden Globes one. Yeah, she was amazing in the Golden Globes.
Okay. The Golden Globes, Sal Saperstein one, that was hilarious. So if someone doesn't thank Sal Saperstein at the next actual event awards, they're failing. Someone has to thank him.
Severance is up for tons of awards. Adam Scott has the potential to do the funniest thing ever while promoting 2 Apple shows.
Someone has to thank Sal Saperstein at one of these awards things. That was a good bit. And then this last Vegas one was hilarious.
I mean, CinemaCon is insane. So I saw the title and I was like, this is my Friday night.
You'll love it. DJ Case gifted 10 memberships. Thank you, DJ Case. Amazing. Who says support. Jason Ashcroft, support for Winston. Your Mavs stole my Utah Jazz first pick. What the F, bro? Just kidding. Much love. Here's hoping Reeves Batman 2 happens. If I had to pick between Gunn's new thing or Reeves Batverse, I'm doing Reeves. I mean, I understand it's a good. I mean, I don't disagree with Coy that the detective version of Batman was so awesome.
Absolutely, it's not something that we've really gotten to see in live action, like detective. So that would the best we got of that was Val Kilmer trying to solve the riddles in Batman Forever, and that's about it. So it's nice to have that, and I would agree with you. I'm going Reeves.
Yeah, me too. As far as it, right now, if I want to see if there's 2 that are coming out soon, I'm going to see that one. But then again, I have to see Superman first and see where the actual DCU is going. Poot Shoot Riot. Winston, have you heard about the game Claire Obscure Expedition 33? It's the game of the year. It's a turn-based RPG and delves into mental health.
Wow. I have not, but that sounds awesome. And I love turn-based RPGs, so I might have to hop on that and start streaming that if that's what's popping in these streets. Let me see if they got that on Xbox. Don't make me have to go. Yep. Bam. Okay. Well, then probably next week start seeing me streaming this game. This looks awesome.
Nice. Okay, next one here is Jason Ashcroft again. Nothing against Gunn. I really love the Batman. The trades make it sound like you had to choose the Batman or Gunn Superman, which is fair, and I think that's what's starting to happen, obviously, with the conversation. But I think Coy is onto something too. They both can exist. Yeah. Eric Slaby, are there any dream castings you have? Mine would be Sean Bean as Mad Eye Moody in the Harry Potter series, especially after watching him as Snowpiercer. That would be good. That would be good to see.
Dream castings.
Matthew Lillard as Carnage.
Oh, dude. And the only thing about that would be even more interesting is if he just leans into like his whole Scream element of it too. That would be nuts.
I'm going to steal Coy's. Billy Magnuson as Booster Gold.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah. Jason Ashcroft, on the Marvel side, will Moon Knight ever return? His series was good, and him as a character was super cool. Do you think they ever bring him back? Maybe in the Avengers or something.
I see him popping up as you need every character ever, and I know that Oscar Isaac loves the character, but I don't know if we'll get anything more than that.
So I just watched the first two with Sam. That's right. I mean, I remember liking the show when I saw it the first time. I really liked that show. I remember really being bummed about the finale because episode 5 was so good. I can't wait for 5, but 6 is kind of the farts.
Yeah.
But I think that's but I really like the show. Doe Eyes, throwing some support.
Thank you.
Jason, I have reservations for Doomsday, but like The Force Awakens, a lot of rewriting history being done right now. Thor: Dark World is suddenly good. I've always, you go back and watch old school schmo stuff. I'm like the one person that said, and I even said to Winston, we're sitting there and I go, Thor: Dark World is much better than this. He goes, you're crazy. I said, not in my world. Do you still think that's better? That fart piece that came out with
Love and Thunder?
Yeah.
I think Dark World's better than Love and Thunder.
Yeah, the dark. See, this is the problem. Dark World is better, but to me, that doesn't say anything. Like I like the relationship between Thor and Loki, but that's about the only thing I like about that movie. That is one of the worst villains I've ever seen. At least I respected Boar. Like the idea of you know what? I'm tired of the oligarchs and the gods shitting on me. I'm gonna do something about it. At least I liked the villain, but
I'd rather have a shitty villain than that piece of garbage. Mirjam, support for the lovely Coy, Winston, and Christian. Thank you, Mirjam.
Thank you.
Spidey Sensei 72. LOL, not the Spidey hands. What's that on the bookshelf with the Iron Man and Deadpool heads?
So these are popcorn buckets. All three. This is a mask. These are popcorn buckets.
He was asking about. That's what he was asking for before. It's a Spider-Man popcorn bucket.
This is popcorn bucket from Homecoming, and then this is the Batman. That's the Deadpool Wolverine. This is actually a buddy of mine works at the studio that makes all the moldings for Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. So this is actually a repress of Downey's mask.
Oh, that's cool. Need more for my collections. What he says.
How many are we at?
65. You're 20 away. 20 minutes.
Are you sure it's at 69?
I had 65.
Didn't you say you logged out?
Luke will let me know. Right now it's at 65. Mike's movie Madness with Adria Arjona killing it in Andor. Her relationship with Jason Momoa and a strong fan campaign. I believe she'll be announced as Gunn's Wonder Woman by 2026. I don't know. I have to tell you that I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
You had me in the first half, Christian.
Yeah, not gonna lie.
No, I agree. I think she's phenomenal in general. Like that,
so special in Andor, and like she's already got that
she's still the show, and she carries that essence of Wonder Woman. She carries it. She would be extraordinary, and I think because of the relationship with Momoa, not anything of like, oh, you got to hook up my girlfriend. It's more so like, hey, you got to meet with her. And then once Gunn meets with her and goes, oh yeah, she's Wonder Woman.
It's also she loves the fandom and press side of things enough that I think that helps. I think a lot of people like aren't good to cast because they don't want to travel the world doing press, and I respect that. I get it; it's exhausting. Yeah. But like she put her all into touring Morbius. Like I was with Adria Arjona for weeks on Morbius, and she gave enough like to like be passionate about that. So like she's got the fandom side down too, which I think is key.
That's great. CJ. 2 Batmans might be confusing, but I don't know if it's a big deal. Like my mates aren't in the know, and they never not watch one because there's 2 at the same time. Well, that's very true. But the question is, if you're DC, you want people to watch both. You can. I think that's the whole point. They'll choose one or the other. I think you're 100% right. Your mates are going to say, Yeah, I'll go see that one. I don't care about the other one. And that's the question: is you want to see both? So
it's the other thing you got to keep in mind is you got to keep in mind what people talk about when they're trying to sell movies about the 4 quadrants. The idea of convincing, say, any of our girlfriends who aren't, or wives that aren't really into stuff like this the way that we are,
right,
to be like, hey, do you want to go see Batman? Didn't we just see Batman 6 months ago? Why would I go see that again?
Exactly. Right. It's like, no, it's a different one. It's too much. I know what Batman's about. I don't need to see it. Mirjam, any ideas for good books to read? I can't pretend that I've been on the book tour right now. So do you guys have anyone that you're reading?
I finished a reread of Paddle Your Own Canoe, Nick Offerman's book. Oh. It's a really cool like autobiography and also like motivation. And then Stealing Fire is this really cool book about flow state and mapping the neurons of Marines when they're in the zone of all their training paying off, and then also musicians and artists and people that are in the creative industry, and they were able to map the neurons and how they fire in the same way. So finding flow state and intense regimented action, whether it's creativity or military, and how humans are wired in certain ways, and I got a lot out of it.
Nice.
All right. So this one is from Eric Slaby. Who wins the Subway Series this weekend, Kristian? Well, I'm going to the game tomorrow, which I'm excited about. Yankees and Mets. And I think the Yankees will take it. Yeah. And I think it's going to be pretty, it's going to be a ruckus.
Even though God, what's his name? That left y'all for the Mets. You don't think he's going to get a little revenge on y'all?
He's been farting up the joint. You been paying attention this season?
No, because I've been too busy watching the NBA literally play out a script. Like that's why I mean,
Pete Alonso is who you got to worry about. Not Soto's stinking up the joint. I mean, he's hitting like 260 or 250 or something. Paid him more money than.
So he got the Mets curse. Then he left and got back.
But the Mets are still in first place. The Mets are crushing this year, but they're just doing it without. So if Soto actually starts hitting, then there's going to be problems. Jason Ashcroft, I got a lot of shit for not loving Ellie and Dina's relationship. I have no issues towards LGBTQ. Ridiculous. If you just don't gush over something, you're all of a sudden a horrible person. Well, I'm going to say this without knowing any comments or anything that you made about it in general, Jason. I don't disagree that there's two extremes that drive me crazy. There's that extreme that we talked about before with the hateful people who just hate no matter what. They just, you know what they're going to say. They turn on their cameras and before you, whatever it is, they're just going to hate on it because that's their brand. Same goes for the other side of things, that if you don't fight the same righteous fight that they're fighting, you are the bad guy and you are the one that is the problem. If you go, no, I don't really buy the relationship. Why do you hate gay people? It's like, no, I just don't like the relationship. There's that. Now there's the people, there's the other side of people who go, well, why don't you like the relationship? And then as where you can have the discussion that the three of us just had before with, talking about that X-Men stuff. Boy made a great point. We went, okay, that's a good point. You see it that way and you have a discussion with somebody, but people don't do that. It's a social media world where you're the bad guy because you don't like it. I don't necessarily, there's certain things that they have done together in this season that I think their chemistry has been there. There's other things that I think it's getting in the way of what the entire mission is. The mission is revenge. It's what the game Revenge was. And it's like, and there's times it's like they almost forgot.
So you've played the game. Because I haven't played them.
I'm aware enough of what the overall arc is, that it's more about, because there's the thing that happens inside of the game when she finds out about something that I don't want to spoil it for, something that Dina tells her, right? In the episode. In the TV show, she's like gushing and over the moon about it. In the game, she's pissed because it's you're putting the mission at risk. It should be about the mission.
I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out, not having played the games, if it is a takeaway from I know you're doing your own story and stuff like that. I thought that the point of focusing even harder on the relationship, because again, I haven't played the games, is maybe to try and keep her human, because based off of how the last episode ended, Ellie's in a very dark place.
That's how she is in the game the whole way through. It's like boom, 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 boom. And then but anyway, we got.
I lived that with Agatha, so I totally empathize. I don't know what you said, but it is hard.
Right, 7 minutes to finish up. Jake, choosing not to watch the Superman trailer. I feel the first teaser was enough. Super hard not to be tempted, but I feel going in blind is better. If you're going to see it, then I say yeah. Then
I respect it.
Unless you do this for a career, then I would say it'll probably help you out, your channel out, if you do a review / reaction. People are going to want to hear your thoughts on it. Ryan S. Watch Dark Knight Rises. My wife wondered how Bane eats, given removing his mask would be very painful. I told her I'd ask the experts for her. Yeah, do you know the
I always thought he ate through, like, there's tubing in the mask in the film, so I always thought he liquefied his food, and like some of the tubes were for like protein and synthesis of food and stuff.
IV drip.
Yeah, I think. Someone in the chat says we're 8 away, 5 away. Someone says, is that true?
5 away? No, I have 74 right now. Right, that's what you're seeing, Winston, right?
Yeah, I see 74. What's the what are we getting to?
85.
Okay, come on, we can do this.
It's 5 away. People's math is off. Michael's movie madness. I think movies and series set in the Old Republic can strike a good balance between the darker, serious tone of Andor and the fantasy aspect of classic Star Wars, as long as they have a good writer. Couldn't agree with you more. That goes back to the first question was asked. Filoni will never let happen. Dennis Hoffman. Coy, you read Exquisite Corpses 1, super dope. Boom, TBT, A Vicious Circle hardcover, really great.
Exquisite Corpses is amazing. It's a new James Tynion book over at Image. It is fantastic. I just picked it up. And then also the Vicious Circle is the book Winston really loved along with me at Boom that they just released as its entirety in a hardcover, and it's a dope hardcover. Writer of The Batman 2, Mattson Tomlin.
Okay. Jake, Winston, you're a Nintendo guy, right? Options on the Switch 2 having game key cards, physical cartridges with no game data, or just a prompt to download the license to a game online. Pretty dumb, in my opinion.
I hate everything about that because it puts us in the same space with everything else where everything is a subscription. You own nothing. And therefore, if at any point in time, let's say your favorite game, that's a great one. That's a good way to show that, Coy. I think specifically one of my favorite games, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, because it was made by one game studio that got absorbed by another game studio. It is literally nowhere to be found unless you have a physical copy. I hate everything about this game card bullshit.
All right, Patty boy, do you think we'll see Flash and Guns DCU if it succeeds?
I think Flash down the line, yeah. I think it's gonna. I'd love to see Wally West personally. DJ Case is killing it. He also gifted some memberships.
Oh, all right, we'll see that in a second. Joseph Wood, isn't Banshee originally Irish in the comics?
Yes, and it's important to me, and his daughter is Irish, and yeah, it's just we don't see. It's funny because we have Batman fighting all Irish villains, which I enjoy. Colin Farrell and Barry Keoghan, all Irish villains so far in the Batman, but I'm hoping we get Irish characters.
My choice is they don't need to have Magneto with the same backstory. I agree. Couldn't they have Magneto come from some tragedy that happened during the blip? Sure. Yeah, as long as it's the same kind of tragedy he's got to deal with, absolutely. Eric Slavey, thoughts on the Green Lantern powers in the Superman trailer? Color-wise, it seemed off, and it's interesting that the constructs came from the ground instead of the ring.
It was green. I mean, I don't know.
I guess maybe just the color green that we have seen previously in other. I can see maybe sort of where somebody feels that way, but I'm not worried about that. And I get that it's out of the ground, but it would also make sense that like there's still like it's coming from the. I don't know. I'm not worried about it, honestly. I think it's fine.
Yeah, okay. I haven't seen enough to judge it yet.
All right, next one here, and this is Pichu, Adam Silver. With the Shyamalan scripting, Winston?
Look, I stand by the allegations will never be defeated that, hey, go send Luka to the Lakers so we can rebuild the Lakers as LeBron retires and we will give you Cooper Flag. Those allegations are not being beaten.
All right, next one after that, and this says, Joe for show. You think we're getting 1 or 2 more trailers for Superman before it's released? I don't think it should. I think you'll get another one. You'll get 1,000 TV spots. But I think they should. That's enough. You don't need any more. And I think that James Gunn's close enough to it that they're not going to do anymore. Yep. Support. Thank you, DJ. Thank you.
Oh my God, we're so close.
What are we
at? 80. I think you're at 85 right now.
So are we tied?
Tied. Joey Pedras coming in late today, but sending support. Thank you, Joey.
Thank you, Joey.
Haskell. Let's go Knicks and let's go Yankees versus Mets. Yeah, the Knicks really got to pick it up, man. 2 in Boston is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. King of the Wicker people. Just curious here. Why does it matter to change a race when those same people also claim that it doesn't matter if those characters are race changed?
Why does it matter to change a race when those same people claim that it doesn't matter?
I don't really know what he means.
I think I'm confused.
I think race is only important to the character if it's important to the character's like themes and messaging and like those elements. But like, I don't think of it first unless it's part of their character identity personally. So I think that answers it.
Okay. Sun Tzu, yo gang, and I'm just spitballing here. If Tom Hardy is potentially done with Venom in the DC, if Tom Hardy is potentially done with Venom and DC doesn't get Alan Richardson for Batman,
dude, he'd be a great Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
Like over if Spider-Man like Tom Holland has a new Venom, Alan Richardson would be incredible.
Yeah, he'd be good. Joey Pedras, I don't see Derek here, so here's some support. Thank you. DJ throwing in 10 memberships. Thank you.
Yes.
DJ coming back in hot. Joseph Wood, I've been going through a lot lately. Heartbreak and loneliness. I'm sorry, Joseph. My mental health has not been good. Thunderbolts hit me in your shows, and especially you guys have been a shining light. So thank you so much. That is so kind of you. I promise you, Joseph. I promise today stinks. Tomorrow will be better.
Yes,
it's one of those things, man. And every crappy thing that is happening now, the great decisions that you wind up making down the line, you're going to go, well, I wouldn't have gotten to that had I not gone through this. I can guarantee you that's the case.
These are all lessons, man. This too shall pass.
Yep. Space Jesus. What is a good first Superman comic for a first-time Superman reader?
I'm a big Superman for All Seasons guy. It's Tim Loeb and Jeff Sale who wrote The Long Halloween, which has been adapted a lot, like The Dark Knight and The Batman both used it. I think All-Star Superman is what they're adapting, but it's fairly dense. Like Grant Morrison's a weird dude. So I would start with For All Seasons, then try that. Then Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow from John Byrne is also amazing. Those three.
Joey Petrus, woo. Jason Ashcroft, I just said that I don't love how they are focused on the mission. The relationship is too much at times. I'm with you. I agree with you. So I guess, they can call us both haters. Mike Joyce, thoughts on The Weeknd as an actor? Didn't even know he was an actor.
Yeah, he did that one show on HBO that didn't do well because the creator of Euphoria, there was like a lot of drama there and stuff like that. But Weeknd's not a bad actor. He's pretty good.
He's got a movie out like this weekend. I think they did it at CinemaCon. I don't know.
Joey Pedras, most memorable Justice League animated episode. My favorite is the one with the rabid squirrel.
I'll just let you have that one because I need a second to think. So go ahead.
Connor Mullis, I ate pizza. Pizza is good. Pizza makes me happy. I swear I didn't write that.
I lied.
So
lie.
Okay, one more.
Oh, we're killing it, man.
Jason Ashcroft, I'm curious if The Authority will ever happen.
I am really hopeful it does because the engineer being so front and center in Superman, I'm a big fan of The Authority. So hopefully. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric. Okay. Paul Hitchcock, Magneto as an African-American who sees genocide in child soldiers allows for standard Magneto elements and an additional level of conflict with Charles using.
Ooh, because most of the Brotherhood tends to be more grown, and the X-Men are like, here are my teenagers. That is a
really great note, Paul.
Yep. Okay. CJ, my super chat might have been confusing. I meant as my mates would watch both Batmans, but also they'd wait for streaming, which allows time in between. Yeah, I mean that's true too. It is. Look, streaming is always the crazy like alternative. It's always the thing that could throw everything off. Jason Ashcroft bummed about Mike Flanagan's Clayface. I wanted to see his script and version. Also, Tom Hardy in Star Wars, make it happen. Love to see Tom Hardy in Star Wars.
Dude, same. Yeah. He's Sith or Jedi, man.
Either way, but that's what you always hope for. But it's always like he's some mechanic on some planet that they do a mission with.
He's a senator in one meeting.
And then he's a Sith Lord.
It's like, Sun Tzu. Support. P.S. I'm not digging Seth and Heyman. Yeah, I don't mind them so far, but they gotta build up a little bit more. Paul Hitchcock. Support to Black Christian, Koi Pond, and Winston-Salem. Let's hear it for assumed familiarity in parasocial interaction. Did you find that TikTok thing, or what did we find out if that was real, or was that someone just messing around?
I couldn't find it.
I assume they were saying your glow up because there's a whole theme on TikTok about like the black woman effect of when you or with a black woman you look up.
That might be what it is.
Maybe your glow up is
is that what it is?
Which is also totally true in my case. She's teaching me how to dress. I was a fool.
No, CJ, sending in super chats on this show feels like I'm cheating on Steph. Gonna have to hole in the wallet in here next time. Fair. Yeah, fair. And then this is the last thing that we missed before. Let me make sure I have that. Sorry, guys. These are ones that we missed. Dalton Leprick. Copy and paste it from last Friday. We've seen the GOAT Giamatti as Batman, but what would Dice look like and sound like as Batman? Oh man. Hey, you wanna go and find the Joker? Anybody know where Gotham is? I missed the turn. Hey, Catwoman, you want me to make a pussy joke? Hey, dickety duck. All right, let's see. Connor Mullis, my boys Corky and Wilson.
Chip.
Nice. Jose Diaz, what's up, guys? Just wanted to send some support. Hope you all have a great weekend. Enjoy the game tomorrow. Go Yankees. Hell yeah, Jose. You going to be there? Tyler Pfeiffer, how do you guys think Sam will react to Lord of the Rings? If she thought Eternals was long, I think they're going to fly by personally. Obviously, higher quality, too. I think she's going to love it. She's never seen Lord of the Rings. She's never seen Harry Potter. She's never seen Star Wars. So,
wow.
And she's never seen any of the X-Men movies.
It's like you found her in a time machine.
I found a mom of 3 who has been a mom of 3 for a very long time.
That's the only reason why I'm confused, because I'm surprised a mom of 3 didn't have her kids drag her to something like that before.
Spider-Man 3, she had seen a billion times and she still didn't remember it.
Huh.
Because she'd been doing what's up, but she's seen a bit of Return of the Jedi, is what she knows. But like Harry Potter, her kids weren't into. Okay, so I think is that it? No, hold on, not yet. Dalton Epic, I did that one. I got that one. Dice's Batman. Oh, see Dalton. Oh, what happened? You guys there?
Well, we just got a ton.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Well, my screen just went down for some reason.
We can still hear you. You can see you.
Yeah, if you want to flash, we can read the super chats. We got a bunch.
No, but I can't see
anything.
I'm gonna have to bring up. What? Yeah, there we go. Now it's back on. That was bizarre. Okay, so we did that one. Did this one. Spidey Sensei, the black folks, ginger folks, cookouts will be lit.
We'll bring the drinks.
Oh, it was a reference to the Black Star Wars. Oh, there you go. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were talking about the TikTok thing before. Patty Boy Harris Dickinson is a perfect Flash and Guns DCU.
Oh, that's fun. I like that.
2 more. Armada Winston, are you following this Joey badass rap beef?
I haven't. I've been out of the country, so I didn't even know that had started up. I have to check that out.
Where were you?
We went to Puerto Vallarta. It was a 8 year. We've been together going on 8 years in August, so we didn't get to go on an anniversary trip in August last year. So we did it just now.
There you go, Jake. Can we get a
cock?
There we go. All right. Well, with that, the gentlemen have done it. They're at 102. They did it.
3 digits.
102. They defeated Steph here today. So CJ, you have to take Steph over the limit next week. But the boys did it again. That's 2 in a row for the Capes and Cows. Back on top. They were in the shits for a while, but they're back on top. 2 in a row. Steph had 2 in a row. Roxy had 2 in a row. Now the guys have 2 in a row. Can they make it 3 next week? We will see. All right. Now, before we get going, real quick, just a quick shout out to the channel. Coy, what's the channel?
Coming down at Coy Jandro on YouTube. Lots and lots of stuff going on. Almost a video a day. Come find me.
Winston A. Marshall.
At the Swaggy Blurred, lots of stuff. The reaction should be scheduled to come out in the next 15 minutes, so check those out. Yeah, I'll see you then.
All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Please go to that Clips channel. If you're watching this show every day, the least you can do is hit that Clips channel subscribe button. Why? Because then you'll get little things. Oh, I missed it this week. Well, you can watch some of the clips. You can watch some of the discussions. You can see the topics you want. You can stop asking about time codes and you can just watch the clips. So there you go. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Appreciate Winston and Coy. See you guys on the flip side.